an official.
That's Fox's Sean Langell. Butina's lawyer denies she's a Russian agent, calling the charges overblown. And the federal judge who ordered the Trump administration to reunite families separated at the border after coming here illegally is now demanding none of them be deported. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, a much cooler start with much less humidity this morning. 64 degrees. 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A comfortable start to the day does not show up in some neighborhoods on Chicago's south side where tensions remain high following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in the South Shore neighborhood. More protests last night.
We need to know what the officer's name was. We need to know why the body cam wasn't on. Where's the audio? Where are the other angles?
Another protest was held last night near 71st and Chapel, near the scene where an officer shot and killed Harith Augustus on Saturday. Meantime, a man faces a misdemeanor serious charge after taking part in the protest over the deadly police shooting. Melvin Johnson apparently refused to comply with an order by police and then pushed an officer during the demonstrations Saturday night. This morning, the NTSB is revealing more information about that medical helicopter crash earlier this month on Chicago's far south side. A preliminary report from the agency says both engines may have failed just before the aircraft crash landed in a grassy field near I-94 and I-57. A patient, a pilot, and a flight nurse and a paramedic were all hospitalized after that wreck. Chicago police are investigating after two were wounded by stray bullets. Authorities say a man and woman were sitting on a porch yesterday near 70th and Jeffrey when those in a black van and a gray sedan began firing at each other. A Central Illinois woman is the first to sue over tainted salads at McDonald's. Jennifer Smith from Washington filed her lawsuit in Cook County, where McDonald's is headquartered. Smith says she ate tainted salads in May and June and got sick. The USDA says it's tracking a cyclospora outbreak across the country linked to McDonald's salads. McDonald's says they're monitoring and tracking as well. No one is hurt after a suspicious object was tossed onto the tracks at a CTA station on Chicago's northwest side. Police say the incident happened at the Logan Square stop during last night's evening commute. The object actually turned out to be an anti-theft device used in retail stores. A man is accused of firing a gun out of a moving vehicle over the weekend in Libertyville. Sergio Vega is charged with aggravated discharge of a firearm and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. Vega is being held on $250,000 bail in the Lake County Jail. Illinois has two new guns. Someone else. The governor also asked lawmakers to send him a ban on bump stocks and scuttled a proposal that would have created state-issued gun dealer licenses. A fourth former Wheaton College football player is avoiding felony charges with a plea bargain. James Cooksey pleaded guilty yesterday to a misdemeanor charge for the hazing incident back in 2016 that left a former teammate injured. A fifth, Benjamin Petway, is expected to stand trial next year. Southern Illinois University trustees have put their stamp on a six-figure severance for the school's outgoing president. Trustees yesterday approving a $215,000 payout for former President Randy Dunn. The package also guarantees Dunn a job as a professor at more than $100,000 a year. The trustee chairman says the deal's in the best interest of the school. Dunn was under fire for supporting a funding shift to send more money to SIU's popular Edwardsville campus. Many still see that as needed. Meantime, Western Illinois University is making some major changes that school leaders hope will reverse their enrollment slide. WIU President Jack Thomas yesterday announcing the university will reorganize its schools in 4 new areas and expand its online degree offerings. Hometown hero Bryce Harper is the 2018 Home Run Derby champ. The Nationals outfielder bested Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 in the finale to claim the title. Harper beat the Dodgers' Max Muncy in the semis, while Schwarber out-homered the Phillies' Rhys Hoskins 21-20 in the other semi. Muncy bested the Cubs' Javier Baez 17-16 in the first round. The MLB All-Star Game is tonight at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Cubs second baseman Javi Baez is starting and hitting leadoff. Jose Abreu starts at first base for the White Sox and will bat eighth for the junior circuit. Bears rookies are now at training camp. They reported yesterday, but not first-round pick Roquan Smith, who has not yet come to terms on a contract. The news, a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dynovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
5:10. Let's get an update on that early morning ride to work. Do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and get the very latest with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. In South Suburban Homewood, there's a major wreck. Ridge Road and Gladville Avenue. Ridge is closed right now between Dixie Highway and Ashland, except for a vehicle struck a pole and hit a Dairy Queen in that area. 8094 eastbound, it's slow going from Kennedy Avenue to Burr. This is nighttime work, blocking 3 left lanes. I-57 inbound traffic, a little heavy Halstead to Bryan after some work. Outbound I-57 farther south, well south, from Antino Interchange was a crash reported. Bishop Ford is cleared up after overnight work. Traffic's moving well on the Ford Freeway. The other expressways and tollways for now look good after some overnight work cleared, including on 53 at Lake Cook. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can help put an end to Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis by joining Team Challenge. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's endurance training program. Run, walk, cycle, hike, or complete a triathlon and get closer to the ultimate finish line, yours. Visit ccteamchallenge.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm. Warm and humid with air quality unhealthy for sensitive groups. High today 86, less humid later tonight, otherwise mainly clear, low 65. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare, 74 along the lakefront this morning, 70 at Midway, and 62 in Aurora. Your next news update at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it wasn't exactly Reagan at Brandenburg Gate, was it? Take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Trump and Putin at their post-game presser and some pointed yet not surprising questions to both from the press corps, including Associated Press reporter, who asked the question that set off a firestorm. The question of who do you believe? Yep. Do you believe President Trump, your intelligence community with respect to Russian hacking, or do you believe Vladimir Putin, per his vociferous denials, as Trump recounted in their meeting?
Mr. President, you tweeted this morning that it's U.S. foolishness, stupidity, and the Mueller probe that is responsible for the decline in U.S. relations with Russia. Do you hold Russia at all accountable for anything in particular? And if so, what would you consider them that they are responsible for?
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish. We should have had this dialogue a long time ago, a long time, frankly, before I got to office. And I think we're all to blame. I think that the United States now has stepped forward along with Russia, and we're getting together, and we have a chance to do some great things, whether it's nuclear proliferation in terms of stopping. We have to do it. Ultimately, that's probably the most important thing that we can be working on.
So that was the first part of it. Both countries are to blame, and this is the next part of it.
A question for President Putin. Thank you. Two questions for you, sir. Can you tell me what President Trump may have indicated to you about officially recognizing Crimea as part of Russia? And then secondly, sir, does the Russian government have any compromising material on President Trump or his family?
That's the Putin piece. That's not it. The question of whether or not you believe Putin or your intelligence community. Do you believe Putin or your intelligence community?
And this is what happened.
Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe?
So let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Why haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Machiavellian genius, or,
Or is he getting played by Putin?
Well, I would go even further than that. I would go where the left is at present, which is high crimes and misdemeanors. That's what former CIA director, Obama CIA director, and
Mr. Mean,
known liar John Brennan had to say.
I cannot understand how the national security team can continue to abide by this, and how Pompeo and Bolton and Kelly can continue in their jobs. This, I think, rises to the point of good American patriots resigning in objection to that performance by Donald Trump. Again, words, I'm at a loss of words to describe just how outrageous his words, his statements, his behavior has been. And one can only conclude that he feeds Donald Trump, the person who is in our Oval Office.
So he believes President
to look Putin squarely in the eye and said, you will be punished for what you did in 2016 and don't ever think about doing that again.
But he didn't. And that's what made it disgusting. That's what made his performance disgusting. I'm sorry, it's just the only way I feel. It's not a right or left thing to me. It's just wrong. A U.S. president on foreign soil talking to our biggest enemy or adversary or competitor, I don't know how we define them these days, is essentially letting the guy get away with this.
Yeah, that was Neil Cavuto, of course. So here's the question. He's obviously very upset about the Mueller investigation. He mentioned the Mueller investigation repeatedly throughout the press conference. And
if he brings up Hillary one more time, I mean, honestly, we know that you beat her in the Electoral College. We know. He doesn't need to bring it up. Please continue, Dan.
And so the thing I don't understand is why he can't bridge the two. You can be aghast at the decisions that have been made by senior executives at FBI and Department of Justice for the past 2 years, and also recognize that Putin is a KGB thug and that Russia is a threat to freedom wherever it exercises authority or exerts influence. I don't understand why those two things can't be bridged. They seem fairly straightforward to me. Now, not everybody was buying into the hysteria with respect to Trump and raising the specter of treason. In point of fact, Stephen Cohen, who is a well-regarded former Russian studies professor at both NYU and Princeton, was on with Tucker Carlson last night, and he suggested that the greatest threat to our representative republic at present
is Mexico?
Is the attempt to undermine Trump.
No, and nor have I in these decades you mentioned ever heard an elected member of Congress say that we should have no relations with the Russians at all. Presumably that would include nuclear weapons control. When I see, I guess it was a Democrat, it's on the bottom of your screen, asking what are the Russians doing in the White House anyway? Well, they're doing with President Trump the national security of our nation, because what's at stake here is a proposal by Putin of Russia, by Trump of America, to join hands in an alliance against international terrorism.
Right.
And I would have asked you, if you had asked me a few days ago, what's the number one threat to the United States today, I would have said international terrorism. I don't know if you agree, Tucker, but it's certainly up there. Today, I would say it's this assault on President Trump because it's been going on a year. And can we be clear? What he's being accused of is treason. This has never happened in America, that there's a Russian agent in the White House. And we've had a whole array of allegations, from Putin helped him get in the White House to his associates are doing wrong things with Russians, that Flynn did something wrong in talking, his former national security advisor did something wrong with talking to the Russian ambassador. There's no evidence that there was any wrongdoing, and indeed Flynn should have talked to the Russian ambassador. That was his job. So this is beyond belief now, and has become, by this I mean this assault on Trump and his loyalty, this has become a national security threat to us in itself.
Take your calls, 312-642-5600 after this.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, what did you think of the summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin? Taking your phone calls, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. And later, a third night of civil unrest in South Shore neighborhood. Now, they say the gun was a wallet. But first, here's your forecast. Today, mostly sunny, pleasant, less humid. You'll feel it as soon as you step outside. It's just going to be a beautiful day. A high of 81 degrees. Tonight, you can turn off your AC unit. We'll have a low of 64. And for tomorrow, more of the same, mostly sunny, pleasant, low humidity, a high of 80. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. And Homewood Ridge Road remains closed between Dixie Highway and Ashland after a major crash. 8094 traffic is heavy eastbound, Kennedy and Burr. With some overnight construction in that area, traffic's loosening up a bit. There were 3 left lanes closed, and those lanes have reopened, so now it's just a little residual congestion. Traffic's a little heavy now on inbound I-57 approaching the Ryan, and on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway as well. About 2 minutes worth of delays either way. And then the inbound Ryan has a 2-minute delay, 18th into downtown Chicago. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware, software, to hiring and managing IT staff can be costly and time-consuming, but there is a different solution. We have an answer for you. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. That's what, Turnkey's IT's all-in small business package is. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more, plus new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable, highly capable employee for less than $10K per year? You don't have to with Turnkey IT. From 1 person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
President Trump, don't you know, his first press secretary, Sean Spicer, has a new book coming out. It's called The Briefing. He reveals what really happened behind the scenes during some of the most headline-grabbing moments of the campaign and turbulent first year of the Trump administration. And Sean Spicer, Spicy, is coming to Chicago for an event that AM 560 is hosting. It's happening on Wednesday, August 8th. Mark it on your calendars. It's going to be taking place at the Museum of Broadcast Communications on State Street. It's being presented by healthinsurancementors.com, and the cost of the event, well, it is absolutely free, but you do have to sign up because tickets are limited. You have to register to get yours, so go to 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing. But right now, you can call and win a pair of tickets to join us on August 8th with Sean Spicer. Just be caller number 10 to 312-733-6993. That's 312-733-6993. Good luck, and we will see you on Wednesday, August 8th. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we'll be taking your phone calls about the meeting between President Trump and President Putin. And later, look who's kicking in $1 million to the Obama Library. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
64 degrees, 5:30. National Intelligence Director Dan Coats says it is clear that Russia meddled in the 2016 presidential election. President Trump tried to cast more doubts on that assertion during his Helsinki summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday.
Well, first of all, he said there was no collusion whatsoever. I guess he said as strongly as you can say it, they have no information on Trump.
The president in a Fox News interview with Sean Hannity after his joint press conference with the Russian president. Meantime, Republican Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska says there is a clear winner in the Helsinki meetings.
Vladimir Putin is leaving Helsinki with an undeserved legitimacy. The United States took a loss today when we backed away from our long-standing commitment to principled American leadership, and frankly, we walked away from basic reality.
The president has been criticized from lawmakers of both parties for not taking a hard stance on Putin. Ford will pay nearly $300 million to settle federal lawsuits over faulty Takata airbags. The carmaker agreed to the settlement in federal court in Miami yesterday. Meantime, the money will not only reimburse Ford drivers for expenses waiting for fixes to their cars, but for loaner vehicles as well. High temperatures around Northern California could jack up the wildfire threat. Heat advisories and excessive heat warnings are in effect until Wednesday. A timeline is set for the trial of the accused Parkland school shooter. Nicholas Cruz faces a possible death sentence for the killings of 17 at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High in February. A Broward County judge proposed a September 2019 start date for the Cruz trial. Tensions remain high in Chicago following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in the South Shore
We
neighborhood.
need to know what the officer's name was. We need to know why the body cam wasn't on. Where's the audio? Where are the other angles?
Demonstrators also want changes, they say, in the way police shootings in Chicago are investigated. Meantime, Chicago police continue investigating after 2 were wounded by stray bullets close to the scene of the deadly police shooting over the weekend. A man and a woman were sitting on a porch yesterday near 70th and Jeffrey when people in a black van and a gray sedan began firing at each other. A University of Illinois student has been charged with disorderly conduct after authorities say he called police to report a man with a gun, then pointed a pellet gun at responding officers before they shot him in the leg. 23-year-old Sam Applebaum of Flossmoor pleaded not guilty to the charge on Monday. A fourth former Wheaton College football player is avoiding felony charges with a plea bargain. James Cooksey of Jacksonville, Florida, pleaded guilty yesterday to a misdemeanor charge for the hazing incident. 6 Republican campaign volunteers say their Uber driver kicked them out because he didn't like their politics. Volunteers told the Daily Caller it happened over the weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina, when they were discussing issues in the car. Mary Russell explained what happened next.
We were all shocked, and we politely got out of the vehicle and just, said bye, have a good night. And then he drove off and said, "Welcome to the resistance."
Republican Congressman Mark Meadows heard about the incident and is now offering the volunteers $100 gift cards to Lyft. Uber says it's investigating. Hometown hero Bryce Harper, the 2018 home run champ, besting Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 in the finale to claim the title. 2018 All-Star Game is tonight at Nationals Park. Cubs second baseman Javier Baez starting and leading off. White Sox first baseman Jose Abreu gets the start and bats 8th for the junior circuit. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, students, and administrators visit PCADevZone.org. 5:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a rocky future for the Dems.
The way the Democrats are behaving right now, they're going to drive people right into the arms of the Republican Party, and the Democrats are not going to take the House. I mean, really, come on. Can we be real? Do today's Democrats want to be socialists across the board? Well, if they do, okay. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive. Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Download the app or text LISTEN to 484848. Text LISTEN to 484848 to try Babbel for free. That's LISTEN to 484848.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound 53 at Higgins on the exit ramp to Higgins. 2 left lanes are blocked. They're going to crash with a semi in the ditch. Homewood, there's a closure of Ridge Road in Highland and Ashland due to a major wreck at Ridge and Gladville. Seeing delays now on the inbound Eisenhower, Manheim to First Avenue. 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound Font at 29. Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 24. Northbound Tri-State is heavy from the Grand Avenue curve to Irving Park. Traffic service of Unbound.org. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, hope for the future, and have a name. Find out more at Unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, sunny, pleasant, less humid today, 81. Clear and nice overnight, low 64. Sunny and a great day tomorrow in the forecast, a high near 80. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Here's how Trump started his address to the world after his sit-down with Putin. This is a high note.
But our relationship has never been worse than it is now. However, that changed as of about 4 hours ago. I really believe that. Nothing would be easier politically than to refuse to meet, to refuse to engage, but that would not accomplish anything. As president, I cannot make decisions on foreign policy in a futile effort to appease partisan critics or the media or Democrats who want to do nothing but resist and obstruct. Constructive dialogue between the United States and Russia affords the opportunity to open new pathways toward peace and stability in our world. I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
That was a good line there, and that was Reagan-esque. And I mean that quite literally. In terms of human qualities, he and I had what you would say communicativeness, and this helped us carry on normally. But when you talk about friendly relations in politics, it's not the friendship of schoolmates. You know who said that? That's Mikhail Gorbachev on Ronald Reagan on the occasion of Ronald Reagan's passing. I take the death of Reagan very hard. He was a man whom fate set by me in perhaps the most difficult years at the end of the 20th century, when everyone felt we lived under the threat of nuclear conflict and it felt as if the arms race was spiraling out of control, that we couldn't control the military machine properly. He entered history as a man who was instrumental in bringing about the end of the Cold War. Well, yeah, so was Gorbachev, accidentally, because of the internal contradictions of the Soviet Union. But the note about Gorbachev and Reagan carrying on normally, engaging normally, but, they're not going out for beers. That's the difference. Reagan, this is from the Reagan Foundation website, talking about the relationship with the Soviet Union. We don't mistrust each other because we're armed because we mistrust each other. Reagan believed if the mistrust was eliminated, then so too could the dangerous destabilizing weapons. He was confident that if he could just get the Soviet counterpart in a room to tell him face-to-face that America had no hostile intent, the mistrust would begin to evaporate. Instinctively, he knew it could not be accomplished through the traditional diplomacy of a bureaucratic State Department. So to the horror of some longtime career government employees, he did what no president ever done. While recovering from the assassination attempt in 1981, he handwrote a letter to Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev in reply to Brezhnev's rather belligerent letter sent less than 6 weeks after Reagan's assumption of office. In his reply, Reagan sought to find common ground and to establish a better tone to relations between the White House and the Kremlin. And obviously Brezhnev died in 1982 and then enters Gorbachev. So the problem, I mean, the hysteria from the left, and remember, these are the people that over the last 40 years have alternated between believing the Soviets would win the Cold War, rooting for the Soviets to win the Cold War, and more recently ridiculing Republicans who identified Russia as a threat. So let's just remember their standing on this issue. So the treason stuff is hysterical and ridiculous. However, the unwillingness to draw a moral distinction between our country and Russia, to say the Nunes report, for example, clearly lays out the evidence that Russian intelligence operatives were behind meddling in the election, hacking emails and the like. And that's a problem, and it's a problem we discussed, and President Putin denied it, but it's still a problem. We disagree on that, just as we disagree on the recognition of the annexation of Crimea. We disagree on that.
But it's the president of the United States not believing his own intelligence agencies. But I understand. I mean, if I were in his position, not really being trustworthy right now of the FBI, don't really like what they've done. That doesn't sit well with me.
But it's not just the FBI that's established the Russians as the responsible party.
Department of Justice and,
The House Intelligence Committee.
Yeah.
Their report.
So do you think what is your feelings about President Trump in his meeting?
I think I mean, I don't know about the meeting, and the conspiracy theories about compromise and passing intelligence to Putin in the closed-door meeting. I mean, it's just that. It's conspiracy theories. It's recklessness. There's no evidence to suggest any of that. It's absurd. Do I think Trump is the Manchurian candidate for Putin? No. Is Putin a puppet master? No. That's all hair on fire stuff from the left.
I mean, I honestly thought Jake Tapper was going to have a heart attack. He was out of his mind. Yeah, hair on fire.
but he could have presented better in that post-game presser. The going down the rabbit hole of Peter Strzok and Hillary Clinton and the electoral count in 2016.
And why didn't we take her server?
And I mean, it's just unnecessary. And the focus should be on Russia.
Right.
Russia presents a threat. It's fine to want to be able to communicate for the purposes of still dealing with the nuclear weapons, since we combined have 90% of the world's nuclear weapons, the two countries. It's fine to talk about and take strident positions on his usurpation of Crimea, gambit into Ukraine, antagonism towards NATO countries, threats against Baltic states.
And what about the downing of the Malaysian flight MH17 in Ukrainian airspace? They proved that was Russian forces. Well, that's 300 people dead. That's why a lot of European ally nations are not happy that President Trump even met with Putin.
I just go back again to say you can take to task the senior leadership of the FBI and the DOJ, as we have over the last 2 years, and also send the unmistakable message that Putin and Trump disagree on these seminal issues they're discussing, and we're trying to work to constructive outcomes. But we have some real disagreements. Got to open the channels of communication, and we recognize that Russia is not a democracy, representative republic, the way America's representative republic, despite Putin suggesting that it was.
We did get something positive out of it. I mean, Vladimir Putin did offer us to question those 12 that were named on the indictment.
I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer.
Yeah,
and there's also the
I
that
don't.
Robert Mueller could someday interview those 12 people if he went to Moscow.
It's ridiculous. It's just the same thing as Putin being asked the question about allowing the 12 that were indicted to be extradited to the U.S. Would you go ahead and make the formal request? And then we also have some people we'd like to see extradited to Russia for questioning. I mean,
well, I was under my impression that they were offering Robert Mueller a chance to go to Moscow to interview their investigators and possibly the 12 people who were named on the indictment.
That's one of the things he said, and that is absurd. It's ridiculous. That's not an offer. That's just propaganda. Bob Mueller's going to go over there, and he's going to
an all-expense paid trip to Moscow.
I mean, it's just the idea that those 12 that are indicted are ever going to be on American soil, that we would ever allow Putin to extradite Americans. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's a stupid conversation. It's a conversation that AP reporter would engender, and people would obsess about it. It's just dumb. Bob Mueller's going to go over there, and it's going to be, a legitimate inquiry of fact. Mm-hmm. And Putin has, kind of no idea what's going on, particularly with relative to something this sensitive. I mean, come on. Goodness gracious. Chris in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I have a theory I want to run by you. I wonder if this was more of Trump's version of a Russian reset, but he wasn't foolish enough to bring a plastic red button. And the thing that I'm trying to emphasize here is there's so many moving parts to this. You have propaganda, like you just discussed. You have political posturing. You have, people trying to score points, the respect issue. And now we're going to try to dissect that whole mess and say, okay, you should have went up there and you should have wagged your finger at him and you should have told him how bad he was, when there's really bigger fish to fry when it comes to Russia.
Yeah, but he didn't have to wag his finger. I mean, so the kind of the knee-jerk Trump supporters. Okay, what I'm suggesting is not that he wag his finger, that he walk across and give him a noogie, that he push him down and kick dirt on. I'm saying, when asked about who you believe, I believe my intelligence community. I believe the members of Congress on the Hill that have done painstaking work to put together a report that indicates that Russia attempted to meddle in the 2016 election. Putin and I disagree on that, and we're going to have to work out that disagreement going forward. This was the first meeting. What is so difficult about that?
Okay, I just want to try to put that right there into context. He just came out of a meeting with them, and we don't know the particulars of that meeting, but let's just try to imagine for a second. So Putin's in the room with him, and he's definitively telling him, this is all BS. Don't believe it. Now, you're standing there, you're absorbing that, and you either are going to believe that guy and you're going to move past this issue and try to get to the meat and potatoes of the real issues.
Well, that is a real issue. That is a real issue. And you have that exchange in the meeting, and then you come on and say, yeah, we had an exchange in the meeting about that, and we disagree. And I communicated we disagree.
Is that issue a stumbling block in comparison to the nuclear issues that we have to deal with?
Well, I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but explain to me why they can come out and say we have a disagreement on Crimea. Putin, we did by a lawful referendum, and Trump doesn't recognize the annexation of Crimea. Why can they publicly disagree about that, but not the meddling?
I understand, but that brings me back to my original thought. There's a lot of moving parts here, and you need to pick and choose, your battles within this major battle, and say to yourself, what am I really trying to achieve in this meeting between the two countries? And I'm not trying to, spin off on a different thing. I'm just saying, I think what he did is he selectively said, I'm just going to say to you right now, we're going to get past this one issue right here because we have bigger issues, and let's just all move forward to what's going to be productive than the drama. I'm not saying that what was happened with the election part of it wasn't bad. I'm not saying, but are there bigger things? Let's get past these minor things and go for the real issues. That's what I'm just trying to throw out there as a hypothesis.
All right. Thanks for the call, Chris. Appreciate it. Lucy in Lowell, Indiana.
Yes. Thank you for putting me on. I want to continue along the vein of your speaker who was just on just now. I think that Trump is a couple of chess moves ahead of us here. By doing this, he has successfully kept open the probe into the corruption of our government. And this is the bigger fish to fry. We really need to find out what was on that server, how the Democratic committee was operating. We've got to clean the deep state out. And by not bowing down and saying, okay, Russia was the entire problem here, he is keeping this open, and he's willing to take the heat so that he can clean the corruption out of our government.
All right, thanks for the call, Lucy. Greg in Schaumburg.
Dan, I also agree with the caller before, and right before that he spoke, you talked in essence about leaders presenting a vision. Now, I understand your point about a direct, dig at the intelligence community. And later I will post this on Facebook for you. But there is a scenario, what Trump did in a mistake is he went down the line of the server only. And Amy, the server is critical. Here's why. Breitbart last year posted an article talking about the case that it was impossible for the amount of data to be uploaded because the transfer speeds would not allow it. And the web log that they subsequently required showed it was dramatically higher, and it could only have been transferred by means of an attached device. Now, the ramifications of that, based on what we know, with the Pakistanis and Wasserman Schultz having hired him and they having disappeared, and the Justice Department having covered it all up, and anybody that is of a certain nature in the government are technically illiterate, trust me.
Yeah, okay.
All of those particular points militate for what I think the first person was talking about in presenting a vision.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the call, Greg. I just remind people that you heard what Gorbachev had to say about Reagan. You heard Reagan's approach to Brezhnev and then Gorbachev. And also remember that at Brandenburg Gate, in Gorbachev's presence, Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. We didn't get that moment yesterday, did we?
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you feel like you could get more use out of your smartphone and tablet, don't feel alone. It's hard to keep up with ever-changing technology. Now there's an easy way for anyone to master the latest smartphone and tablet. User manuals and how-to guides made for beginners from beginnermanuals.com. Guidebooks that are made for the beginner and approved and recommended by over 100 senior associations in the United States. They teach all the basics with high-quality illustrations and step-by-step instructions for all the fundamental and important tasks on your smartphone or tablet. These easy-to-understand guides are just 100 pages long. In just one sitting, you'll be able to use your device completely, confidently, and easily. BeginnerManuals.com has manuals for both Apple and Android devices, including the iPhone, iPad, and Galaxy. Go to BeginnerManuals.com and for a limited time, get 20% off and free shipping. That's BeginnerManuals.com for 20% off and free shipping.
Mayhem is everywhere.
On the leaky pipe you decided to repair yourself. That's right. You watched one online video and thought, yeah, that's something I could do. So you did. Tighten me right up. And here we are a few weeks later. You come home from a weekend away and, hey, I made you a lake. You've always wanted a house on the water, right? Well, now your basement is filled with it. And if you've got the wrong home insurance, you might be swimming in bills to clean up this mess. So get Allstate, where agents help protect you from mayhem. Like me.
Get help with home insurance from someone who lives right nearby. Call Hinsdale Allstate agent Madeline Lopresti today and ask about Claim Rate Guard. Your rate won't go up just because you file a claim. Call Madeline Lopresti today. Feature is optional, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
See what the personal service of an Allstate agent can do for you. Are you in good hands?
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:56. Let's get an update on the early morning roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, let's get the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Homewood, Ridge Road is closed between Ashland and Highland after a major crash. It involved a pole being hit and also a retail business. 53 northbound, the exit to Higgins has 2 left lanes blocked. It's crashed involving a truck in the ditch. Eden's fine. Kennedy, 22 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. But Eisenhower stop and go Manheim to Harlem and heavy Ogden to Morgan. 40 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 8094 to the Verge. The northbound Tri-State's heavy. Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Traffic service of unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. An elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
At 5:58 on AM 560, time for a dry basement and healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's Kevin Snyder.
Mostly sunny day today, high 81, clear night, low 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 80, and a partly cloudy night with a low 64. On Thursday, some sun will give way to clouds with showers in the evening, high getting up to 81. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, the news service of Unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer, an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call their own. No two dreams are the same. One person achieved theirs at Unbound.org. 5:59, here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. Tensions remain high in Chicago following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. The NTSB revealing more information about a medical helicopter crash earlier this month on Chicago's far south side. A Central Illinois woman, the first to sue Chicago-based McDonald's over tainted salads at the fast food franchise. No one hurt after a suspicious object was thrown onto the tracks at a CTA station on Chicago's northwest side. A fourth former Wheaton College football player is avoiding felony charges with a plea bargain in that case. Bryce Harper bests Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 to claim the 2018 Home Run Derby title. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
President Trump thinks it's a shame the media is focused on what he calls the witch hunt. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I don't think the people out in the country buy it.
He tells Fox's Sean Hannity he and Russia's leader discussed a lot of important topics.
We're talking about nuclear proliferation. We're talking about Syria and humanitarian aid. We're talking about all of these different things.
And the president keeps insisting there was no collusion in his campaign with Russians and appeared to believe Vladimir Putin's denial for meddling over U.S. intelligence findings. Putin told Fox's Chris Wallace.
I'm not interested in this issue in this single bit. It's the internal political games of the United States.
Now, President Trump may hear a lot about that when he meets with some members of Congress today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president will face angry lawmakers at the White House. Democratic Congressman Chris Van Hollen blasted President Trump for questioning U.S. intelligence overseas.
He threw our intelligence community totally under the bus.
Republican Congressman John Barrasso says the president should have been tougher on President Putin.
Putin is not our friend.
Republican Senator Rand Paul takes a different view of the summit.
I think having open lines of communication is very important for avoiding war.
President Trump's meeting with lawmakers this afternoon is the only event on his official schedule. Dave.
Rachel, the search continues in Caldwell County, North Carolina, for the man who shot a sheriff's deputy at a traffic stop late Sunday night, then fled. That deputy had surgery but is expected to recover. The Coast Guard's investigating a Hawaiian lava boat tour off the coast of the Big Island that got too close for comfort. That's when a lava flow from the Kilauea volcano exploded in the sea, sending molten rock through the roof of that boat, injuring 23 passengers. Tour boat operators will now have to stay 1,000 feet offshore. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it.
And the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Is your property just not selling fast enough for what it should? Are new customers not finding your business? It's not the market, it's your marketing. 3D Roomscapes can change all that. Showcasing your home or showing your business with still photographs is outdated, folks, and doesn't give a real feel for the space. With 3D Roomscapes, three-dimensional virtual tours can navigate a property online as if you're there in person without leaving your home. Just think of the convenience, being able to explore properties online or inviting people into your business, allowing them to imagine what it looks like to do business with you. 3D Roomscapes makes it happen. From aerial interactive shots with a drone to a fully mapped 3D tour, it's surprisingly affordable. Go to the number 3droomscapes.com today for a free consultation. At 3droomscapes.com, you can browse their 3D virtual tours. And for a limited time, they'll create a free custom YouTube video with purchase of service. 3droomscapes.com, that's 3droomscapes.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. There was a wink. There was a soccer ball. But it's this moment that lit Washington, D.C., largely both sides of the aisle on fire.
I believe the intelligence community and also the House intelligence community that Russia meddled in it. We should do everything we can to hold them accountable.
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So he believes Russia over American intelligence.
Or at least he's essentially offering a moral equivalence between the two. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Just a couple of years ago, Mitt Romney was ridiculed by Obama and the same D.C. press corps for suggesting Russia was the greatest adversary America faced in the 21st century. And fast forward, but 6 years, and you have think pieces in Politico like Putin's attack on the U.S. is our Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've come a long way, baby, in the last 6 years, or at least the D.C. press corps and the Democrats have. Joe in Crestwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I think that although this seems to be a pretty serious affair, I think that most people are way more concerned about this so-called deep state and the idea that there's a political class in the United States that is basically above the law, and that we really don't need to worry about Russia because we both have enough nuclear weapons to blow each other off the planet, and it's probably never going to occur basically because of the outcome of that.
Well, yeah, but there are other things to worry about other than nuclear war with respect to Russia, aren't there?
There's definitely other things to worry about, but I think that this so-called notion of a shadow government that really runs the show, if this really exists, I think it upsets people more than anything to do with Russia for right now, because these are supposedly fellow Americans who are no longer following the rule of law or following the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks for the call, Joe. The other Joe in Villa Park.
Hey, could you guys imagine the outrage if they would have caught Trump off mic saying, wait till after the elections and I can be more flexible? Oh, wait, that was Obama that said that a couple of years ago. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks for the call, Joe. And for the Democrats saying, you know, how dare you even meet with Putin? Let's not forget that President Obama met privately with Putin to discuss Syria. They couldn't come to terms on that, obviously.
Hillary had the reset button with Russia.
Right, with and then the hot mic moment that was just described with Medvedev, one of Putin's actual stooges.
And Putin wanted President Trump to win. I mean, he said so yesterday.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the Russian relationship back to normal, Putin said.
And that's, I mean, President Trump knows what he thinks, and he believes that Russia is not the primary threat to America, that China is, and that it would be absurd to pass up a chance to become closer to a government that might help us. I mean, I was trying to process why did he just say what he's saying? What did he do? And our caller, I thought, said it perfectly, that maybe that was the reset button between this Trump administration and Putin.
I think that this is so much more personal for him. I mean, I think it comes across in his remarks, rambling as they often are. I think this is about the offense that he takes at the Mueller investigation and its persistence and how that's impeding what he would like to do, how it's a major distraction. And I think he takes every opportunity to essentially brandish his perspective and the evidence so far that's decidedly in his favor against Mueller and against the sort of left establishment. And so thus you get Hillary Clinton and you get his reviews of Peter Strzok's testimony and you get the kind of regurgitated lines you've heard for months and months now about the Mueller investigation, much of which are true. But I just say again, you can be critical on the merits of the senior judgment of senior executives at FBI and DOJ, and bridge the two, say that we disagree about Russian meddling, the attempt to meddle in the 2016 election. We have this evidence that's been put together by House and Senate Intelligence Committees, by the special investigator, by the Department of Justice, and it's pretty persuasive to me. Putin and I disagree about that. Just like we disagree about Crimea, just like we disagree about Syria. We disagree on a lot of things, just like we disagree about whether Germany should ink a deal with the Russians for a pipeline. Yeah. We disagree about a lot of things. So we want to have constructive engagement, but understand there are many disagreements. Some, hopefully, we can resolve in a way that's, beneficial, from my perspective to America, from his to Russia. And some we may not. But you don't know unless you try. That's a reasonable position. What he did yesterday, sort of middling Putin versus the intelligence community, that was not helpful. And it's just not accurate. On the merits, it's wrong. It's incorrect.
I mean, did he not hear Rod Rosenstein just, Friday?
The defendants worked for 2 units of the main intelligence directorate of the Russian General Staff, known as the GRU.
Yeah. Rod Rosenstein for president, says Ruth Marcus in the Washington Post. I mean, this is the thing. It's so easy to rally the defense of Trump because the left is so unglued. I mean, the Benedict Arnold, the high crimes and misdemeanors stuff,
I know.
they're unglued. But that doesn't make Trump's performance acceptable. Right. Alex in West Dundee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think he just did it to antagonize the Democrats. But, I mean, I don't know how they could complain about anything when we meddled with the Israeli elections, and nobody says anything about that. And it's free for the United States to go over there and meddle over there, and that we're so offended. Why don't we have better computers that can't get hacked? Why don't they worry about that side of the whole thing?
Thanks for the call, Alex. Okay, we didn't meddle in the Israeli election the way that Russia attempted to meddle in ours. We're conflating issues here. Sending campaign operatives to support candidates in another country, kind of openly assisting one candidate or the other for president or prime minister of another country, is not the same thing as illicitly hacking into emails or running, agitprop campaigns on Facebook. It's not the same thing. People need to stop saying we meddle in. We're talking about illegal activities. We're talking about hacking. We're not talking about formally participating in campaigns or even informally participating in campaigns. Those are different things. Mike in Union, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. My point is, with John Brennan, such outrage and, a loss for words, Mike Pompeo is director of the CIA, now currently the Secretary of State. There's a whole premise that the president doesn't know anything that's going on. And I just think maybe he does know what's going on, and there's maybe a little bit more to the story than we know about. And let's hope so, because I'm not going to be like a Democrat. Or, maybe I will become like a Democrat and stick with my guy and give him the benefit of the doubt other than all these other people that are quick to crucify, our own. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt, Dan. His performance wasn't the best. I agree with you on that. It never has been. But the end result's always been good for us. So let's see what happens. Let's roll with it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Mike. Interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal from another former world leader, Tony Abbott, the former Prime Minister of Australia. He writes, the holder of the world's most significant office should always be taken seriously. Erratic and ill-disciplined, though Mr. Trump often seems, there's little doubt that he is proving a consequential president. On the evidence so far, when he says something, he means it, and when he says something consistently, it will happen. For Australia, Trump so far has been a good president, despite his testy initial conversation with Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. He's honored the very bad deal, quote-unquote, that President Obama made to take boat people from Nauru and Manus Island to settle in the U.S. As weightier allies found at the NATO summit this week, Mr. Trump is reluctant to help those who don't pull their weight, and who can blame him? America's been the world policeman, the guarantor of a modicum of restraint from the world's despots and fanatics. No other country has had both the strength and the goodwill for this essential task. The truth is the rest of the world needs America much more than America needs us. The U.S., and he goes on to explain why. It's just a perspective of rooting for America from an ally. It's an understanding that Trump is, advancing much of what he said he would do. According to Abbott, in Trump's first year, he acted on 64% of the policy ideas proposed in the Heritage Foundation's Mandate for Leadership agenda. Not bad compared with Ronald Reagan's 49%. So on the conservative reform score, he's done a lot of good. I don't think the performance yesterday was helpful. I don't think that he should have equated Putin and the intelligence community and implicitly members of Congress who've been also participating in this investigation and pulling together of information. but I'm not saying high crimes and misdemeanors either. But there has to be a standard you hold the president to. And he didn't meet that standard yesterday with Putin, in my view. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan. I agree with some of the other callers in regards to things like meddling in Israel and John Brennan, who is known to have voted for a socialist. How that guy ever got to be the director of the CIA, I'll never understand. But there was a bombshell that was dropped by Putin in the interview that he was given by Mike Wallace, and that was a Russian company was indicted for this espionage work, and when that company hired an American lawyer and said, okay, prove it, all of a sudden Mueller backed off. He didn't have any evidence, or he didn't want to disclose what evidence he had.
Yeah, it was
That
not
is a real big indictment.
Well, right.
On Mueller.
Well, yes, we talked about that. We talked about that with Andy McCarthy. Clearly, Mueller was caught flat-footed, did not expect that company and its employees to have American legal representation and actually show up in an American court. Those indictments are press release indictments. They're not serious indictments because you're never going to see those Russians in an American court. But fair enough, Dan. Thanks for the call. Pete in Montgomery.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. So my take on it is that the Russians, they believe their security is best served by having their neighbors and adversaries in disarray. At the 2016 election, everyone thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. Therefore, they did their meddling to try to weaken her position. And now at this last turn with this press conference and all of the investigation into Russian meddling and the fake collusion angle to it all, just serves to have a weakened president and a weakened country. So Russia, in essence, is winning game, set, and match in our home court for having a United States as a world power. And I think President Trump, who I'm a firm supporter of, kind of failed miserably on this last press conference. Mm-hmm. He's not taking the position of calm, cool, and collected, which would derail everything that the Russians are trying to do with regards to us. Yep. Having said that, I think the Mueller investigation is a witch hunt into him, or is being used as a witch hunt into him, and not a counterintelligence investigation like it should be.
Yeah, thanks for that call.
Thanks, Dan.
There was,
good comments. Thanks
but
for
I
the call,
was
Pete.
left wondering, what is in it for us?
What's in it
This
for us in terms of
relationship
meeting
now
with
between-
Putin?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have all of these issues. You have stability in Eastern and Central Europe with against the backdrop of a KGB thug who wants to recreate the glory days of the Soviet Union. That's destabilizing. You've
They
got
don't have
obviously
fair elections in Russia now, do they?
Well, I'm not. That's sort of way down the list. I mean, it's the expansionist tendencies of Putin. It's the efforts to undermine NATO and the Western alliance for common defense. It's their nuclear arsenal. It's their presence in Syria. It's their financing of a nuclear Iran. Have we forgotten about the Russia-Iran relationship? Tom in Deer Park.
Good morning. Now Russia, previously the Soviet Union, has not been an adversary, but has been an enemy for 100 years. Dan, you just touched on all the subjects, including Iran. And what they do, they sow dissent, not through sending nuclear missiles, the threat of nuclear missiles, or even an army. They do dissent through our social media. And they're also doing dissent through our institutions. And I really respect what you do, because I'm hearing callers that, in my opinion, are inured by Fox News and talk radio. And it's a dangerous situation. I can't put my finger on it, but I know it when I see it. And it scares me. I hope that these callers... Pardon?
I said, okay, Potter Stewart. You know, the Potter Stewart, the opinion about pornography. I know it when I see it. Never mind. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. I get that. So anyway, it's just, I don't know if I'm crossing the line here, but the percentage of callers that have this view that is they want to talk about Mueller and servers when we're talking about the greatest enemy that we have to our republic, it frightens me, and I hope it's not a percentage of the listening audience in this country, because if it is, then their ways to sow dissent in our country have been effective. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Tom. Joe on the south side. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Good. Get out of the wind.
Speak up a little louder.
We
okay.
need you to
Wow.
speak up a little.
I wonder, has anybody thought that maybe Trump is right? I mean, look at who they handed the dossier off to. His biggest critic, another Republican out there in Arizona. And I'm with Trump. I don't trust the Department of Justice, the FBI, CIA, any of them. They're all arrayed against Trump.
All right.
Not only that, I think he was a little tired when he was up there at the podium.
All right. Thanks for
That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Joe.
Did you see
Good luck
it?
out there.
Yeah.
It's windy.
Yeah. Hold on to your hat. Did
Yeah.
any of you see at the end of the press conference though, when Trump shook his hand and then he gave him like the half bro hug, and Putin would have none of it? He was like, "Get off me." He was still in charge, and he was an hour late to the meeting to show he was still in charge. That's why I think some people thought that President Trump got played by Putin, because everything was on his terms.
Yeah. All the body language experts and, interpreting geopolitical interpretations of a wink, of the, a half bro thing or whatever.
But
I mean,
it was
good
just
grief.
The wink didn't bother me, but that at the end, I thought, that's.
I thought
they're not going to kiss on the first date. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Jim in Tampa, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Couple quick points. Dan, you had said this is for Trump. It's personal. Everything's personal for Trump. That's how he does all of his politics. So that really doesn't make anything different there. The second point is, how many times have we been in this spot where we are saying, I can't believe Trump has done this. This is it. This is the craziest thing. It's over. Third part is, Tom and Deer Park, don't insult people. It's just not, people think for themselves. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jim.
I thought it was over when he talked about Megyn Kelly bleeding from her eyes and other places. And then I thought it was over when he said John McCain was a war hero because he got caught.
The standard isn't, is
But
this
but
the
he's
end
he's
or
not?
not?
Going away. He's not going away.
Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about it like that. We should be talking about, was that productive? Was that a good moment? Was that helpful? Tony in Elgin.
Yeah, so regards to that last caller, I do agree with him to the fact of when everybody thinks that it's over, but we do have to have some sort of standard for everybody. And I mean, I don't want to be like the left with Obama, where they just worshipped him. Everything he did, there was nothing wrong that he could do, and I feel like we're going down that path sometimes. So I feel like we do need to be like, hey, Trump, that's not cool, that's not good, and kind of steer him off to the good stuff that he does.
Yes.
So I don't know, something more like that.
No, I think that's right, Tony. I think that's exactly right. I mean, there have to be standards that exist outside the man. Otherwise, we're supporting the rule of men over the rule of law. We don't want to do that.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Oh, got a great night's sleep. Oh, you know why? Not because I went to bed early, but because I rested my head on a MyPillow. It's made in America. Mike Lindell, the founder, creator of MyPillow. He was recognized by our 45th president, mentioned out in that rally at Fargo, North Dakota. The president recognized him and endorsed MyPillow right on national TV. I love that you can move the fill to get the support you need. I love that it's made in America. Washable and dryable. You don't have to take it to the cleaners. Hypoallergenic, has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Who does that? And right now for the month of July, we have the buy one, get one free offer. Oh, it's back. So go to MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code for the buy one, get one free offer. Plus, you can get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers that I've been telling you about, as well as pet beds, those awesome sheets, and much more. Go to MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Tell them Amy sent you.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
We have a ticket giveaway to see Sean Spicer. You know him, President Trump's first press secretary. He has a new book coming out. It's called The Briefing. And in the book, he reveals what really happened behind the scenes during some of the most headline-grabbing moments of the campaign and that turbulent first year of the Trump administration. And Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago for an event that AM 560 is hosting. It's happening on Wednesday, August 8th at the Museum of Broadcast Communications right there on State Street. It's being presented by healthinsurancementors.com. And the cost of the event, well, it's absolutely free, but you must register to get into the event. So you have to go to 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing. But right now you can call and win a pair of free tickets. Everything's free. To join us August 8th with Sean Spicer, be caller number what? What, Dan? Give us a number.
3.
Caller number 3. All right. 312-733-6993. That's 312-733-6993. Your free ticket also gets you access to the Saturday Night Live exhibit at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. So you could check that out before you meet Sean Spicer. Again, August 8th. Get your free tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The protests over that Chicago police-involved shooting continue.
And later, a new item on the swimsuit catwalk. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 70 degrees. Reports that President Trump's White House aides were as shocked as anyone. The president sided with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the U.S. intelligence community's conclusion that Russia meddled in the 2016 election.
Our relationship has never been worse. than it is now. However, that changed.
Shameful and appalling is how Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer described the president's performance at a Helsinki press conference.
Now, in the entire history of our country, Americans have never seen a president of the United States support an adversary the way President Trump has supported President Putin.
Meantime, a dozen Russian intelligence agents have been indicted by the U.S. for trying to influence the presidential election. Also, a Russian national is being charged with being a spy for Moscow in the U.S. Maria Butina is also charged with trying to influence U.S. politics. CNN says Butina was involved with a Russian gun group backed by the NRA. President Trump is back from Europe. He'll schedule to meet with an angry host of Republican congressional leaders discussing making the GOP tax cuts permanent. Federal judge in San Diego ordering a temporary hold on deporting reunited immigrant families. The judge, Dana Sabraw, issued that hold yesterday. Ford will pay nearly $300 million to settle federal lawsuits over faulty Takata airbags. Tensions remain high following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood.
We need to know what the officer's name was. We need to know why the body cam wasn't on. Where's the audio? Where are the other angles?
Protesters also are demanding changes in the way police shootings are investigated. The NTSB revealing more information about a medical helicopter crash earlier this month. A preliminary report from the agency says both engines may have failed just before that aircraft crash landed in a field near I-94 and I-57. Former Wheaton College football player avoiding felony charges with a plea bargain. James Cooksey of Florida pleaded guilty yesterday to a misdemeanor charge for the hazing incident in 2016 that left a former teammate injured. Hometown hero Bryce Harper is your 2018 Home Run Derby champion, beating Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 in the final to claim the title. Harper beat the Dodgers' Max Muncy in the semis, while Schwarber out-homered the Phillies' Rhys Hoskins 21-20 in the other semifinal. Tonight, the All-Star game. Javier Baez starting for the Cubs at second base, while Jose Abreu will start for the White Sox at first base. The news service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now. Compassion.com/radio. Compassion.com/radio. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's been a witch hunt since 2016.
To be a member of the mainstream media, news media today, should be a source of moral embarrassment. But it isn't, because, as I have said for decades, being on the left means never having to say you're sorry. The media and the left and its party, the Democratic Party, sustain hysteria they have from the moment of the election.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound 53 and along exit ramp to Higgins, there's a truck crash. 3 left lanes are blocked. Traffic gets around on the right side. Northbound Tri-State traffic stop and go from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway up to Irving Park. Got Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. Outbound 24 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown. 38 from Manhunt. Outbound 35 to 390. Stevenson an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36 minutes. Line is 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Traffic service of unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. An elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, a sunny and pleasant day ahead. Much lower humidities and dew points. High of 81, clear and 64 overnight. Currently 70. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, updating a couple of stories we discussed yesterday. CVS and CPD, the incident with the alleged fake coupon at Northside CVS, and obviously the more serious case, the Chicago Police Department police-involved shooting of a Mr. Augustus in the South Shore neighborhood who had a weapon on him, resisted arrest, shot and killed. Protests ensued, some violence against Chicago police over the weekend, leading to peaceful protests on Sunday, and then more protests yesterday.
Yeah, last night. This is 3 days in a row where people have gathered at that same intersection on 71st Street demanding answers. Hey! Oh! These killer cops have got to go! Hey! And this is the thing.
These killer cops have got to go.
Yeah, killer cops. That's what they're shouting yesterday. And this is what the community asked police for. They said, hey, you know, it would help if you put beat patrol officers back on the street just to walk down the sidewalks to make sure we're safe. But then this happened.
That cop had no business over here.
Yeah, that cop had no business over it. No, that's what you asked for during your community policing meetings. That's what they wanted.
I don't think, some people are not going to be reached with reason.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks that this is discrimination, and he was shot because he was African American.
We're not trying to hide anything. We're not.
And I think that Mr. Augustus' constitutional rights were violated.
We're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to fluff anything. The video speaks for itself.
And of course, Black Lives Matters were there. That's something that's different. They started coming. They went on Sunday night outside the police department, and then yesterday to South Shore.
I know when I watched the video, I saw someone who had his ID out trying to show his ID to the police getting gunned down. I did not see anyone reaching for a weapon. I saw someone getting killed.
Well, then you watched a different video that I have not seen, because the video that I saw was a man who resisted arrest, spun away from police officers, exposing a gun, and in the video, one magazine in his belt, a holstered gun, one magazine. In fact, he had two magazines that was recovered at the scene, and looking to reach for his gun. But the bottom line is he resisted arrest, and he had a weapon on him, and his hand was near his belt, and he just didn't follow orders. And I got this Facebook post from this leftist troll who listens to the show. It's so funny. Like,
what do you say?
He's like, oh, it's so ignorant and it's so racist and this and that. Just say obey police. Well, okay, then look, it's a hell of a thing to kill somebody. I'm not happy that Mr. Augustus is dead, and I don't think the Chicago police and the police officer that shot him are either. So what would you do? You want to hash this out on the street? Is that what you think is smart? I mean, just from a common sense perspective, just forget all of the other nonsense. Even if you think the police is some systemically racist organization, and maybe especially if you do. No, I don't, but let's say you do. This systemically racist organization, 4 cops are around you. You know you have a weapon on you. What are you going to do? Resist? Does that make sense?
Well, some people are claiming now that they thought he was reaching for his wallet and not for the gun. But if you look at the video, the wallet's already out. Then he puts it away and he reaches for his gun.
Say he was reaching for his wallet. Say he was reaching for his ID. He clearly resisted. He clearly was moving and flailed away from police. That happened. So I ask again. It's a very simple question. How do you think it's going to go? Take the perspective of Black Lives Matter. Take the perspective, the worst perspective possible on police, generally. So when you're confronted by 4 police officers, you think you're going to hash it out by resisting. You think that's going to go well for you? So do you want people to be safe, and even if they're treated improperly by police, have the opportunity to adjudicate that while they're living? Does that make more sense to you? Or does it make more sense to you for the response that you see in some of these instances? Resistance, flight, threatening actions, or actions that could be interpreted as threatening? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like they use this Augustus guy or others who've been killed by police. They don't care about those individuals. They don't want them to. I shouldn't say they want them. They use them as mascots.
Well, they're trying
to make their political case.
And BLM and this other coalition, they're trying to find his family. All they know is that he lived alone. He worked at the barber shop, and he had a 5-year-old daughter. So they're desperately trying to find them to get them in front of the cameras, to sign them up with an attorney. That's what I mean. That's conjecture on my part, but that's what I think is happening. We do know that he did have a FOID card, but he did not have a concealed carry license.
You have a civilian police authority, COPA, Cabana.
Don't stop.
You have that to investigate. You can retain counsel and pursue a remedy in court if you think there's a remedy to be had here.
Yeah, but they have to find their family first.
Well,
or some living kin.
Yes, some living kin because he's dead.
Right.
And I think it's difficult to argue that if he had taken my advice and not taken the posture, I guess this is the posture of Black Lives Matter and these leftists who troll me and others who just say comply and live to resolve the matter in a court of law or through an administrative process within the police department.
They want the police officer arrested.
You think?
I mean, it's crazy. But these are their demands. I'm just saying I'm not agreeing with them, but I'm just telling you the fact this is what they want.
Great. And the police. Let's arrest the police officer. Is that bringing Mr. Augustus back? I want to hear from Black Lives Matter or from these, internet tough guys who suggest that compliance with the police, do not resist the police, listen to what the police say and follow orders when you're in a confrontation with police, and live to adjudicate whatever maltreatment you think you may have experienced through the channels that have been set up. That is sensible, or resisting arrest and getting in people's faces and making threatening actions and not complying with police orders. That's a smart thing to do. What do you think? What's the smart thing to do? If you want people to live, if you don't want to put cops in difficult positions where maybe they make a legitimate judgment call and maybe they don't make a legitimate judgment call. Which is it? And by the way, it is worth noting that you've got hundreds of thousands of stops, hundreds of thousands of interactions between Chicago police and residents every year, right? And again, so far in 2018, 4 killed in police-involved shootings, 9 wounded in a city where so far in 2018, there's been north of 1,200 shootings and more than 240 people murdered in shootings. Dennis in Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, Amy. Dan, I'm a pretty reasonable guy.
Yes,
and
that's your reputation.
Thank you, Dan.
Yes.
But anyways, I got into an argument with a guy in a restaurant. Make a long story short, cops came in and trying to separate, the argument, trying to calm things down. Well, I didn't listen to the cops like I should have, and they gave me 3 chances. And I didn't have a gun or anything on me, but they tased me. The first one didn't stick.
Sure.
So they tased me again.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, and then they took me to the Wax Shack for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, needless to say, I never again have not complied with the police. When they pull me over or whatever, I do not need to be tased again.
Well, how old were you when this happened?
It was last week.
No, it was probably last year.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. Well, how did it feel to be tased? I mean, I know it doesn't tickle, but
It actually it's kind of a weird thing. I don't know. Have you ever been shocked by anything greater than 110 voltage?
yes.
Yeah, when she had to get the
got my frontal
demons
lobotomy.
exercised. Yes, right. We put
Oh,
her.
okay.
We
I
put her
was
through
shocked
shock
once
therapy.
by an electrical
Yeah.
outlet, but yeah. So
Mhm.
it felt like that.
Well, then you've really never been shocked, unless you've been shocked by something around 240. It basically just makes you feel like you're numb as heck, and you fall to the ground like a mannequin.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, don't stay out of trouble, Dennis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that's
okay?
after you turned my marriage proposal down. I got into a little drunken brawl.
Maybe think about making dinner at home for a little while.
Well, I haven't left home since then.
All right, very good.
okay.
Thanks for the call, Dennis.
Thanks
Yeah.
for listening, and
All
thanks
right.
for calling, and thanks for telling us your story.
Yeah. But actually, it points out something because you suggested yesterday maybe they could have tased him.
Yeah.
It took 2 to put Dennis down in the restaurant.
240 volts.
Yeah. But no, seriously. So you can tase
you're
someone, they can still have a weapon, or you tase someone and it doesn't disable them and they have a weapon. That's
Yeah.
a problem.
And that's what I spoke with a police officer yesterday from CPD, and he said the same thing. He's like, we wouldn't know if it would take him down for sure.
Right.
And he was clearly, if you watch the video, grabbing his weapon.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning, kids. Thanks for taking my call. I have a couple of questions. Does anyone believe that if he resisted arrest and was running away, he would change his mind and pull out an ID? And second of all, if the Chicago Police Department are so racist, how come we have fewer blacks in county jail now, fewer blacks being arrested, and fewer blacks going to trial than any time in the last 25 years?
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for the call, Mike.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Trump administration taking on the World Trade Organization. Reports due today on industrial production and Sears closing its last Chicago store. Those stories are next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year? Even less with promo code SAVE20. Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair dinkum. for just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. GoPestFree.com. That's GoPestFree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer filing a challenge at the World Trade Organization against Mexico, China, Canada, and the European Union for retaliating against U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Lighthizer says the retaliation violates WTO rules, as the Geneva-based organization is meant to mediate trade disputes among its members. Economic reports today include the latest on industrial production, the housing market index, and an update on chain store and department store sales. Sears, the hometown retailer and former owner of Chicago's Sears Tower, has closed its final outlet in the Windy City, the last remaining Sears store operating since 1938. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Peyton and Eli are there right now with some other kids of people who listen to this show. I don't want to say their names, but nice family I met when I dropped Peyton and Eli off at summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. They're there for the week, and it's a great place that provides young men and now young women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. We're talking about fall enrollment for grades 7 to 12. That's happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. There's day boarding or full boarding, and it's really a beautiful place. When you get to the campus, you feel like you're on the set of a movie. There's discipline, there's rules, there's no chaos, and it's not a place for juvenile delinquents. Oh, no. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has people from all over the country and all over the world. It's a place to immerse young men and women in a culture of leadership that inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and our military traditions. They've been shaping young minds since 1884. And as a mom, sending our own sons there for camp resonates with the values that I want to see my children grow up with. So to learn more about fall enrollment, or maybe about the summer program for next year, or to schedule a visit, or if you have any questions, just call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com. and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. You're welcome, America. And that's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity, but the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson with a great way to celebrate Independence Day with a bang all month long. In July only, Schrank Smoke & Gun is offering 10 to 20% off all store-owned Smith & Wesson firearms. If you're new to firearms or an experienced owner, don't miss this sale. Generations of customers shop Schrank's for the family atmosphere and huge selection of pistols, rifles, shotguns, hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles. But hurry, even with the largest selection of new and used firearms in Lake County, inventory changes daily. And don't forget, Schrank's offers on-site gunsmith services from simple cleaning to repair. And cigar lovers, well, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. Don't miss the July Smith & Wesson 10 to 20% off sale and check Facebook and Instagram for frequent flash sales. Drive north and save on taxes at Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. Visit smoke.gun.org or call 847-662-4034.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code RADIO20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. And yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair dinkum. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code RADIO20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code RADIO20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com. Promo code RADIO20.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He upset Democrats and his fellow Republicans. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is a bad day for the United States of America.
Senator Chris Van Hollen and other Democrats called President Trump believing Russian President Putin's denials about meddling in the 2016 campaign a disgrace. Republican Senator Bob Corker said it
made us look as a nation more like a pushover.
And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer wondered about
the possibility that President Putin holds damaging information over President Trump.
Now, the president, who will meet with House Republicans later today talking about tax reform, is defending himself. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump pushing back on his critics, telling Fox's Sean Hannity the media are laser focused on the Russia probe.
Talking about all of these different things, and we get questions on the witch hunt.
The president also adamant that Russia is not holding anything over his head.
I guess he said as strongly as you can say it. They have no information on Trump.
President Trump also tweeted that he has great confidence in his intelligence people, but added, as the world's two largest nuclear powers, that the U.S. and Russia need to get along. Dave.
I'm Rachel. Vladimir Putin again denied meddling in our politics, talking to Fox's Chris Wallace.
And it's quite clear to me that this is used in the internal political struggle, and it's nothing to be proud of for American democracy.
Now, a Russian woman was charged in Washington yesterday with conspiring with Moscow to infiltrate conservative groups like the NRA, acting as a Russian agent. Volcano tour operators in Hawaii say they still plan to operate off the Big Island shore, but will stay farther away. After that happened on a boat yesterday, a lava flow from Kilauea exploded into the sea, sending molten rock through the boat's roof right off the shore, injuring 23 passengers. This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, we have sunshine, 70 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Tensions remain high following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood.
We need to know what the officer's name was. We need to know why the body cam wasn't on. Where's the audio? Where are the other angles?
Another protest was held last night near 71st and Chapel. Demonstrators demanded more video and a change in the way police shootings in Chicago are investigated. Meantime, a man is facing a misdemeanor charge for taking part in a protest over that deadly police shooting. Authorities accuse Melvin Johnson of refusing to comply with an order by a police officer, then pushing that officer during the demonstration near 71st and Champlain. The NTSB is revealing more information about that medical helicopter crash that injured 4 earlier this month. Preliminary report from the agency says both engines may have failed on that aircraft before it crash landed in a grassy field near I-94 and I-57. A Central Illinois woman is the first to sue over tainted salads at McDonald's. Jennifer Smith of Washington, Illinois, filed her suit in Cook County, where McDonald's is headquartered. Smith says she ate the tainted salads in May and June and got sick. USDA does confirm it's tracking an outbreak of cyclosporiasis across the country linked to McDonald's salads. McDonald's says they're monitoring and looking for a new lettuce provider in tracking the outbreak. A West Suburban hospital is suing over a Cook County jail inmate racking up over $500,000 in medical expenses. Lamont Cathy is in the custody of sheriff's deputies at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood while facing theft-related and escape charges. 2 other county-run hospitals will not take him in. Sheriff's officials don't want to move him without someone to attend to his medical needs. Loyola filed suit last week in order to force his removal from that facility. Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper out-homered Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 to claim the home run derby title. Tonight's Major League Baseball All-Star Game will find Cubs second baseman Javier Baez starting and hitting leadoff, while for the White Sox and the junior circuit, Jose Abreu starts at first base and will bat 8th. The news, a service of Ashley Home Store. It's Ashley Home Store's Black Friday in July event. Save up to 50%, plus 12 months special financing on new styles for every room in your home. And shop doorbusters starting as low as $95. Hurry in and experience Black Friday in July. Ashley Home Store. This is home. 7:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
7:06 and a check of your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. And Homewood Ridge Road remains closed between Ashland and Highland after an early morning wreck. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center. 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 23. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 26 from Montrose, 17 on the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 36 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's now an hour from 390 to downtown. It's 42 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 35 minutes to 390. Stevenson an hour and 4 minutes, 355 for Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 46 minutes. Ryan 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishopport, about 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State Jam from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Reagan Tollway delays, 53 to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial, the Mountain Toll to St. Charles and Lake Street to 290. Northbound I-65 is heavy, 113th Avenue to 101st Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly sunny and less humid, high 81. Tonight clear, low 64. Tomorrow another mostly sunny day with a high 80 and a partly cloudy night tomorrow night with a low 64. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Total American student loan debt, $1.4 trillion. 2015-2016 school year, the average debt at graduation for students receiving bachelor's degrees was north of $30,000. Also, parents' debt has gone up about 14% over the last 5 years, the 5-year study through the 2015-2016 school year, to $33,291. Something for you to look forward to with Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's great. The rest of your life to pay it off. Won't that be fun?
Won't they have to pay it off? I never.
Well, you don't. Yeah,
paid. I mean, I got one.
You're not required by law to finance their college education.
I had a one semester from my family, and then the rest I had to pay myself. I had to pay my student loans. And I worked. I worked as a waitress for 4 years at Sports Column just to have money. And then that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So why do I mean, do you have to pay for your kids to go to college?
No, you don't. In fact.
Why would I want to waste, $200,000 all said and done for what?
Well, there's a predicate question. Should your kids go to college at all?
Or should they go straight into the trades or now straight into the military? Because they're getting a taste of that this week.
Well, let me give you an example of what's happening, what college campuses are producing. Let me introduce you to the de facto head of the Democratic Party in this country. Her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She won that Democrat congressional primary. She's going to be a member of Congress come January. This is an interview that she gave on the new Firing Line show with Margaret Hoover about the Middle East.
Oh, boy. She's 28 years old, keep in mind.
Boston University grad.
But I am, of course, the dynamic there in terms of geopolitics and the war in the Middle East is very different than people expressing their First Amendment right to protest.
Well, yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition. And that, to me, is just where I tend to come from on this issue.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
Oh
my gosh! That's so fun.
I think what I meant
I
is
think-
like the settlements that are
Settlements and
increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just.
No, I don't think
I
you
am
can.
not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
Oh, thanks for that grand concession.
Down for that interview in the first place. Oh my gosh, like watching a horror film through your hand. You just want it to stop.
I know some words. I know like West Bank and settlements and Palestinians and Yasser Arafat and the PLO and
What was she saying? The occupation of
Abbas and Netanyahu. So I'm just going to do like a word jumble and then just kind of social justice emote my answer on the topic. This is why our friend Jason Hill, philosophy professor over at DePaul, is suggesting to not fund dear old alma mater, to walk away, to go galt, as it were, from higher education. Our universities risk losing their status as learning sites and becoming national security threats, writes Hill. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Jason Hill, who's got a new book out, I'll have you know. And let me just get that up here for you so I can properly promote Jason Hill's new book. It's an immigrant story, We Have Overcome, and it's an immigration story to an immigration letter to the American people, who is Jason Hill is an immigrant from Jamaica. Jason, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan and Amy. Good morning.
Good morning. So, universities risk becoming national security threats. That's pretty strong language. What do you mean?
Well, I mean that they are becoming propaganda machines. They've been that way for a while. They've become propaganda machines. They've ceased to become objective learning centers where they disseminate knowledge objectively and dispassionately to their students, and they have become propaganda machines where they do the very same thing that Alexandra Cortez, we heard her doing, where what they do is they really indoctrinate their students in the humanities and the social sciences. And we find it happening now in the law schools with a steady dose, a steady diet of radical left-wing ideology. They're basically indoctrinating their students into left-wing ideology, socializing them into becoming socialists, where cultural Marxism is the basic ideological trope through which all knowledge is filtered, whether it's philosophy, whether it's literature. The literature departments are the worst. Whether it's history, everything is read through a cultural Marxist lens. And a cult of victimology, a cult of ideology, is the dominant trope or schema through which you are meant to view yourself and view society as, and especially America, as an imperialistic, intrinsically, irrevocably racist, unjust society. And to do that, you have to dispense with reason. You have to dispense with argumentation. You have to shut down free speech, basically. And we're seeing this increasingly across campus, where it's the radical left that is predominantly the enemy of free speech. Because you can't have open contestation and debate of these stupid, nefarious ideas if you have free speech.
Well, are there any college campuses or universities that still where free speech is still alive?
I mean, I think there are a couple of colleges. I think colleges like Hillsdale and a couple religious universities that ironically, you would think religious universities would be the ones that would be inimical to this kind of approach. But I think there are probably a handful of universities that are still open to free speech. But I think even those, the important thing, Amy, is that even those universities that might be amenable to free speech are caving into student pressure themselves, because these students have a sense of, they live in these curated silos, however you pronounce it, in a different country. I can never get the pronunciation right. These curated silos where they have never heard perspectives outside of their own, and where increasingly their professors are not giving them a different perspective or a balanced perspective. And university administrators who are well-intentioned people who probably would like to have them hear a different perspective, cave into the students and the professoriate perspectives, and shut down free speech. I was just speaking to an administrator from a university recently who said, we want to have intellectual diversity, but when the vetting process begins, and we have students and professors from these different departments, all hell breaks loose. So you have a speaker like Condoleezza Rice, who is really, at the vetting process, declared to be a hate speaker.
Yeah.
Now, there's no lower place to go in educational hell, I think, when someone like Condoleezza Rice, who's actually quite a moderate,
yeah, right,
on the conservative spectrum, is classified as a hate speaker.
Well, and you're suggesting that this is beyond salvaging, that university grads should defund their alma maters, that the only way that you're going to see structural change, cultural change on the college campus is for the universities to pay an economic price.
Yeah, in my book, We Have Overcome, I have an immigrant's letter to the American people. I have a huge section in there where I just gave a small version of the article, but in the book I go into a great deal where I really make an appeal to businessmen and women and alumni donors and to the federal government, because private universities also receive funding, that stop funding your destroyers. Unless you pay an economic price, there's no incentive for the professoriate and for these students who are the mouthpieces really of their professors to stop mouthing these kinds of conceptual inanities really that don't match up with the intellectual world. We continue to incentivize them to condemn the hands that feed them, business people, corporate organizations, and until they can really, universities can really hire, professors who have alternative viewpoints, and not incidentally fire professors or deny them tenure or scare the wits out of them, those professors who will teach alternative viewpoints in their classrooms, then there will be no solution. There will be no alternative, really.
But if we defund DePaul, there will be no philosophy professor Jason Hill. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just. I don't want to single out my own university here because I mean, it's I don't mean to use my university as an example, and I'm not using my university as an example.
Although your university hasn't been great in the last couple of years.
Well, I think what will happen very quickly is that universities are not, although they are traditionally nonprofit institutions. I think what will happen is that we will see a restructuring very, very quickly because.
So that they'll reinstate chalk on the campus of DePaul that's been banned, for example.
It's not that they'll reinstate chalk. I think what we'll see very happening once a defunding and disbanding happening is that from a top-down perspective, from the perspective of the presidency, the provost, and the deanships, that we will see massive restructuring happening very, very quickly. And the issue is once alumni donors start stipulating that as a condition of the endowments that I'm making, that you have to hire or you have to affix. The money that is being donated is not unconditional. That you have to teach conservative values, you have to teach American values, you have to teach pro-capitalist values, you have to teach values that espouse individualism, self-reliance, the morality of wealth creation, pro-American values. You see, very often these corporations just give them money without any kind of conditions affixed to them. I think once we have something like that happening, you would see a radical change in universities. And you'd still see a Jason Hill at DePaul very, very quickly because universities are not going to lose their top talent that quickly.
There you go. Top talent, Jason Hill. No question about it. Philosophy professor at DePaul, Jason Hill. The book, We Have Overcome, An Immigrant's Letter to the American People. Jason, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
And also you can get a long-form interview, more of Jason's reflections. He sat down for an Against the Current interview at upstream-ideas.com several months back. A really good conversation with Jason Hill. More information from him at that site.
And Dr. Hill joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, those two CVS managers who called Chicago police on a African-American woman, well, what's in their future? We'll explain, but first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, less humid, a welcome change to a high of a beautiful 81 degrees. A repeat for that tomorrow. And tonight we have a low of 64, so open up your windows, turn off the AC, and enjoy. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Reagan Tollway eastbound. We're seeing delays from the Aurora Toll Plaza to Eola, from 53 to 355, and from 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Tri-State delays are from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. It's very heavy from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound Veterans Memorial, bottled up from Boughton to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290. Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 46. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown, 40 from Manheim, outbound 55 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Are you an experienced homeowner interested in learning the truth about reverse mortgage loans? Have you outlived your retirement assets, or your Social Security no longer covers your monthly expenses? Are you interested in learning how reverse mortgage loans can extend your retirement assets? Are you depleting your savings by paying your parents' bills? Are you interested in getting your reverse mortgage loan questions answered by a local reverse mortgage loan expert? If you said yes to any of these questions, then I strongly encourage you to join local radio legend Orion Samuelson and Team Hochberg's free reverse mortgage seminar at Del Webb in Huntley on Friday, July 27th from 3 to 5 p.m. Again, that's Friday, July 27th, 3 to 5 p.m. at Del Webb in Huntley. David will explain the many benefits of reverse mortgage loans and answer all your reverse mortgage loan questions. Again, the seminar is free and refreshments will be served. To register for this free reverse mortgage loan seminar on Friday, July 27th at Del Webb in Huntley from 3 to 5 p.m., go to reversedavid.com. That's reversedavid.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago. And I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature. So we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea?
Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants. Or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 through 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, providing young men and now women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Since 1884, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin has been developing the minds and shaping the character of young men from around the country and around the world, many of whom have gone on to achieve great success. And now, that same opportunity is available for young women. They prepare cadets for success in life by instilling a solid work ethic, an understanding of the value of integrity and teamwork, and the ability to think critically, communicate well, and function in a diverse and ever-changing world. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top drawer burger blends short rib, chuck, and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burger1.com. That's burgerone.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just in case you thought the left was only becoming unglued about the Trump-Putin press conference yesterday after their sit-down, don't forget Judge Brett Kavanaugh is still out there waiting for his confirmation hearings to proceed. Right? Yeah, they can't start fast enough as far as I'm concerned. This thoughtful piece from the left at the Think Progress site.
Wait, did you say Kavanaugh, though?
If Kavanaugh is confirmed, you can kiss the right to vote goodbye. So if Brett Kavanaugh is confirmed, the left believes we are going to lose, and minorities, of course, in particular, the solidarity and marginality play, we're going to lose our right to vote. You understand why it's so difficult to take the anti-intellectual left, and I repeat myself, seriously. If Kavanaugh is confirmed, you can kiss the right to vote goodbye.
Kiss the right to vote goodbye. Okay. Everybody's singing.
No voting. No voting.
Lost their minds. Hey, we have some free stuff. You know, President Trump's first press secretary, Sean Spicer, well, he has a new book coming out. It's called The Briefing, and it goes over, you know, what happened behind the scenes during the most headline-grabbing moments of the campaign. Sean Spicer coming into Chicago for an event that AM 560 is hosting. It is happening on Wednesday, August 8th, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications on State Street, that great street. It's being presented by healthinsurancementors.com. And the cost of the event, well, it is free, but you have to register, and there's limited registration. You have to register to get in. So go to 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing. But right now, you can call and win a pair of tickets to join us on August 8th with Sean Spicer. Just be caller number. Dan, do you want to play along? Throw out a number.
Number 7.
Okay, 312-733-6993. That's 312-733-6993. With your free ticket, you also get access to the Saturday Night Live exhibit at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. So you can check that out before you meet Sean Spicer. Again, August 8th, get your free tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Did President Trump hand KGB Putin a propaganda win? We'll ask Cliff May, president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, at 7:37.
And they're turning heads during the swimsuit catwalk. We'll explain why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 71. Reports that President Trump's White House aides were as shocked as anyone when the president sided with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the U.S. intelligence community's conclusion that Russia meddled in the 2016 election.
Our relationship has never been worse than it is now. However, that changed.
Meantime, a Russian national is now charged with being a spy for Moscow in the U.S. Maria Butina is also charged with trying to influence U.S. politics. She was arrested over the weekend. The president will come back from Europe with a full plate, including a meeting with Republican congressional leaders discussing making GOP tax cuts permanent. Ford will pay nearly $300 million to settle federal lawsuits over faulty Takata airbags. Carmaker agreed to the settlement filed in federal court in Miami yesterday. A West Suburban hospital is suing over a Cook County jail inmate racking up over $500,000 in medical expenses. Lamont Cathy is in the custody of sheriff's deputies at Loyola University Hospital in Maywood while facing a theft-related and escape charge. 2 other county-run hospitals won't take him in. Loyola filed suit last week in order to force his removal from that facility. Illinois has 2 new gun laws in place as Governor Bruce Rauner signs a new law creating a 72-hour waiting period for all gun purchases, signing another that allows police or a family member to ask a judge to seize someone's guns if they are a threat to themselves or others. The director of the Wheaton Library has been named the Librarian of the Year, award recognizing distinguished service and leadership in Illinois libraries. And turn your eyes to the sky beginning tonight. The most popular meteor shower of the year makes its debut. The Perseid meteor shower begins later today. Scientists say the Earth will pass right through the path of the comet Swift-Tuttle from July 17 all the way to August 24th. The showers peak August 12th. MLB All-Star Game tonight. Cubs represented by second baseman Javier Baez will start and lead off, and catcher Wilson Contreras. The only White Sox player, Jose Abreu, gets the start at first base while batting 8th. Bears rookies at training camp, except for first-round pick Roquan Smith, who's not come to terms on a contract. The news, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's been a witch hunt since 2016.
To be a member of the mainstream media, news media today, should be a source of moral embarrassment. But it isn't, because, as I have said for decades, being on the left means never having to say you're sorry. The media and the left and its party, the Democratic Party, sustain hysteria they have from the moment of the election.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014, especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
It is 7:36. Let's get an update on the ride to work this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. We're now seeing southbound delays on the Tri-State Tollways. Very heavy from Oakton to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound jam from 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Reagan Tollway slow from the Aurora Toll to Eola, 53 to 355, and 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial from Dalton to St. Charles. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Edens is 23 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 46. Mount Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to the Circle, outbound 55 minutes now. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny and pleasant, less humid, high near 81. Beautiful night ahead, low 64. Currently 72. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Now what? Huh? Now what when it comes to Trump and Putin? We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Hey. Good morning, Dan and Amy. All right, let's run the gamut of reaction from most hysterical to least yesterday. See where you fall on the spectrum. Of course, here's a former CIA director and inveterate liar, John Brennan, on President Trump's presser after the sit-down with Putin.
I cannot understand how the national security team can continue to abide by this and how Pompeo and Bolton and Kelly can continue in their jobs. This, I think, rises to the point of good American patriots resigning in objection to that performance by Donald Trump. Again, words, I'm at a loss of words to describe just how outrageous his words, his statements, his behavior has been. And one can only conclude that he fears Vladimir Putin, and that one-on-one discussion, who knows what was discussed there, and how Mr. Putin now is the master puppeteer of Donald Trump, the person who is in our Oval Office.
Yeah, a lot of facts, not in evidence there, but the accusation of rising to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors, treasonous. That's what the left has been saying. Also, the conspiracy theories about passing intelligence in their private meeting, about having compromising information. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley suggested something like the P-tape does exist. Well, let's present it then. Usually a more sensible voice, calm arbiter of affairs, Neil Cavuto at Fox Business had this to say.
This was the time and the place for the president to look Putin squarely in the eye and said, you will be punished for what you did in 2016 and don't ever think about doing that again.
But he didn't. And that's what made it disgusting. That's what made his performance disgusting. I'm sorry, just the only way I feel. It's not a right or left thing to me. It's just wrong. A U.S. president on foreign soil talking to our biggest enemy or adversary or competitor, I don't know how we define them these days, is essentially letting the guy get away with this and not even, offering a mild criticism. That sets us back a lot.
So you go from Brennan and some of the co-conspiracy theorists to Cavuto.
And Laura Ingraham, she chimed in as well. And then there's, Republican lawmakers. Of course, John McCain, we knew that was going to happen. Jeff Flake, Senator Flake. But Bob Corker said something. Kevin McCarthy piped in.
Yes.
I mean, this is Kevin McCarthy.
I believe the intelligence community and also the House intelligence community that Russia meddled in it. We should do everything we can to hold them accountable.
So those are the more mild rebukes and just restating confidence in the intelligence community as well as his colleagues on the Hill who've been investigating these same matters, like Devin Nunes's committee. And then Stephen Cohen yesterday on Tucker Carlson, the well-respected Russian studies professor, formerly of NYU as well as Princeton. He had this to say about the greatest threat now facing our representative republic.
No, and nor have I in these decades you mentioned ever heard an elected member of Congress say that we should have no relations with the Russians at all. Presumably that would include nuclear weapons control. When I see, I guess it was a Democrat on the bottom of your screen, asking what are the Russians doing in the White House anyway? Well, they're doing with President Trump the national security of our nation, because what's at stake here is a proposal by Putin of Russia, by Trump of America, to join hands in an alliance against international terrorism.
Right.
And I would have asked you, if you had asked me a few days ago, what's the number one threat to the United States today, I would have said international terrorism. I don't know if you agree, Tucker, but it's certainly up there. Today, I would say it's this assault on President Trump because it's been going on a year. And can we be clear? What he's being accused of is treason. This has never happened in America, that there's a Russian agent in the White House. And we've had a whole array of allegations, from Putin helped him get in the White House to his associates are doing wrong things with Russians, that Flynn did something wrong in talking, his former national security advisor did something wrong with talking to the Russian ambassador. There's no evidence that there was any wrongdoing, and indeed Flynn should have talked to the Russian ambassador. That was his job. So this is beyond belief now, and has become, by this I mean this assault on Trump and his loyalty, this has become a national security threat to us in itself.
So do we have Staff Sergeant Raymond Shaw in the White House, or is Professor Cohen right? Where's the truth? Somewhere in the middle. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Cliff May, President of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Always good to be with you guys.
So where do you fall on that spectrum, or are you on the y-axis?
Look, I think it's very simple. I mean, I obviously do not agree with people like John Brennan, who have gone totally hysterical and are using this to further their anti-Trump agenda. Do I think that Trump's performance yesterday Monday was disappointing? Absolutely, it was disappointing. He wasn't prepared properly, and he didn't seem to be able to navigate some pretty rocky waters. Why were they rocky? Because Putin is very much an adversary of the U.S. He is running a country that is and has been killing people. He has taken territory by military force from his neighbors. This is now the third president in a row who cannot seem to deal properly with Putin and with Russia. I don't know quite why that is. I'm sorry this was a disappointing performance. I don't think lasting damage was done. As far as we know, no agreements were made. We still have sanctions on Russia. But if you're going to call balls and strikes, I think you have to say that in this instance, President Trump got up at bat and he whiffed it.
What is the proper way to deal with Putin?
You know, Reagan got along with Gorbachev, who was a much better Russian leader than is Putin, and yet he was also willing to say, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He could talk to him, he could deal with him, he'd negotiate with him, but he also was strong on the issues that are of vital interest to the U.S. You are not deferential to Putin. There may be things you don't want to answer. You try to see if you can if you can find common ground, but you let him know that we are the strong nation, you are not, and and a lot of what you have been doing, we not only disapprove of, we condemn. You don't go around murdering people in other countries, for one thing. You don't go around stealing the land of your neighbors by military force. If you look at the NATO declaration that came out last week, it very clearly says that NATO exists in large measure because Russia is violating international law on so many levels, and we have to defend the West from Russia. Well, if that's the case, you do not in public act quite so deferential towards Putin, as if he is somebody who deserves great respect. Listen, I will say, Putin is very clever. He's very savvy. He knows how to play even a weak hand, which is all he has when you consider that he's got an economy about the size of South Korea's. He plays a weak hand well. When it comes to Syria, where he's done terrible damage, he has facilitated over 500,000 deaths by Bashar al-Assad and Hezbollah and Iran. If you recall back, we had Obama saying, "Oh, that's going to be a quagmire." Well, it was a quagmire. There are a lot of things that are a quagmire for Obama are not going to be a quagmire for Putin because he knows how to use the military force he has effectively. But what he is doing in many parts of the world, many of his activities are not just illegal; they are absolutely antithetical to the vital security interests of the United States in the West, and that should be clear in all dealings with him.
And let's not forget, the downing of Malaysian Flight 17 over Ukrainian airspace. I mean, that the 4-year anniversary was yesterday of that, and he didn't hold him accountable to that atrocity either. And that's what upset me the most.
I think you're absolutely right. There are so many things Putin has done that we could just go through. The murdering of journalists in the streets of Moscow, abroad, elsewhere. Just there's absolutely so much. And look, I think this has to be made clear and not conflated. Did Russia meddle? Did they intervene? Did they hack in terms of the most recent elections? Absolutely, that's clear. Did Putin and Trump collude in any way? No, there's no evidence of that whatsoever. Did Putin's actions in this election change the results of the elections? There's not a scintilla of evidence to suggest that's true. Now, part of the problem is that the opponents, not just critics, of President Trump conflate those things so that if he acknowledges that, yeah, no question the Russians were messing around with our elections, then people will think, and that's why Hillary lost, which is not the case. But what Russia was trying to do, I think, and I think it's pretty clear, is undermine our belief in our system of democracy. So he could say, as he does, you have a democratic system. It's very imperfect. We have a democratic system. I'm not claiming it's perfect, but they're essentially equivalent.
Well, that was really the low point in the press conference, right? It was not just the question of who do you believe, but it was Trump behaving like Putin and engaging in moral equivalencies between the United States and Russia, the same way that Putin attempted to do, to say, you call your country a democratic country, small d, I call my country a democratic country. Well, your country is an autocratic country and you're a dictator, and ours is a representative republic and he's a temporary president. Those are two very different things.
Exactly right. It would not have been hard, it seems to me, for Trump to say, I have an intelligence community. They've told me what happened during this election. I'm not pleased about it. I'm not pleased about what you did, and I expect it to stop. You don't have to admit it, but I expect it to stop. Don't do that again. It's not friendly, and there will be repercussions if you continue along this road.
Well, and too, the whole matter of Russian meddling, people say, oh, well, you don't want to offend, and you don't, there's no reason to antagonize because you're trying to make the bigger, better deal with respect to nuclear proliferation and Syria and Iran and other geopolitical interests. But I'm sorry, you made it clear, and Putin made it clear at the press conference, that they disagree about Crimea, that Putin sees this as a legitimate annexation by referendum, and Trump doesn't, and Trump's position, of course, is correct. So if you can openly disagree about Crimea, if you can openly criticize Germany for doing a deal on an energy pipeline with the Russians, then why can't you openly express a difference of opinion on whether or not Russia meddled in the election, no matter how vociferously a thug like Putin says he didn't?
I think that's exactly right. Look, I think a lot of times Trump believes in his own ability to go out there unprepared and wing it. And I suggest that's probably what happened this time. And what he needed to do was sit down with his very good advisors and prepare. There are things where he should have said, I'm just not even going to comment on that, or I'm going to leave us to disagree on that. I'm going to continue to look for common ground between the two countries, but I am also going to be very aware of the ways in which Russia is violating international law and is showing hostility towards America, towards the West, and towards our interests. And I'm going to hope that that changes, and if it doesn't, the repercussions will follow. His policies towards Russia have been tougher than the previous president, and probably the one before that. Policies have been good, but this press conference, this was a big disappointment, I think.
What do you think about Stephen Cohen's observations?
It's interesting. Cohen is a man of the left, but he is very defensive of Putin, has been for a long time. Too defensive of Putin generally. What he said in the bite you played, I can't really disagree with. But I'm not on board with Professor Cohen on many things.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, including his marriage to Katrina vanden Heuvel.
Well, exactly. I'd like to see some of the breakfast conversations between the two of them, because the Nation magazine is calling Putin, is calling Trump a traitor, and is trying to impeach him, and just looking every day for the reason that they can do it that particular day, which is what so many of Trump's enemies get up every day to do. And yet, Steve Cohen was very defensive of Trump in this instance.
Well, and it's, the left, all of a sudden, their newfound antagonism for the Soviets. It's really interesting to watch, considering they were aghast when Ronald Reagan took a hard line, called the Soviet Union the evil empire, even as he did develop that relationship with Gorbachev that you alluded to. And then more recently, they ridiculed, of course, Mitt Romney for suggesting that Russia posed a threat to our country. So it's great to have the left on board in terms of being anti-totalitarianism for a change.
Exactly. The hypocrisy is enormous.
All right. He is Cliff May, president for the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
What I suffer from is anxiety, along with depression. But I feel the anxiety triggers depression more times than not. My first experience with HPR was my initial interview. It was welcoming. It felt very good. I saw results pretty much immediately. Even after my first treatment, I felt different than when I came in. I think HPR could work for pretty much anyone. I think that what HPR has done for me was awaken a part of my brain that either stopped working or never worked. I think everybody can benefit from HPR. I'm Alex, and HPR Treatments has helped save my life.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
The rapid evolution of technology and industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When the Senate was debating cutting taxes, Senator Joe Donnelly told us this.
If they bring a good tax bill before me that helps middle-class families, count me in every time.
But how did Senator Donnelly actually vote? Listen to President Trump.
Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts.
The Trump tax cuts are working for Indiana. Middle-class families will receive a tax cut of more than $2,000. Thanks to tax cuts, Hoosier businesses are hiring, raising wages, and paying employee bonuses. But Senator Donnelly voted no. It's time for Joe Donnelly to change course on tax cuts. Call Senator Joe Donnelly, 202-224-4814. Tell him the Trump tax cuts are working and to vote yes on S2687 to make our tax reforms permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're Sound Income Strategies, and baby boomers who work with us know the secret to a great retirement is our middle name, Income. At Sound Income Strategies, we transform high-fee, high-taxed retirement spend-down schemes into sustained retirement income. And we can do the same for you. For your free, no-obligation income kit,
call 866-913-1234. That's 866-913-1234.
It's time to get off the Wall Street roller coaster, stop the retirement spend-down schemes, and join the income generation. For your free, no-obligation income kit,
call 866-913-1234. That's 866-913-1234.
Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Sound Income Strategies. The secret to a great retirement is our middle name.
Call 866-913-1234.
Trust, trust, trust. Yes, I said trust 3 times because I want to tell you about a recent AM 560 charity benefactor and company that built their business and reputation over 3 decades by being trustworthy. I'm talking about Dependable Construction and founder Joe Barron. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, then progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Dependable Construction has grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. So call Joe at Dependable Construction today. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. tuckpointchicago.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Tax reform is on the agenda. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but will House Republicans who'll meet with President Trump today bring up the Putin summit?
I did not think this was a good moment for our country.
And that is Senator Bob Corker, one of many Republicans joining Democrats critical of the president, appearing to believe the Russian leader's denials about interfering in the 2016 campaign. GOP Senator John Barrasso says,
I don't know what the president said to him privately, but I hope he has said, look, we know you did this in 2016.
Better make sure you don't do it in 2018, because if you do, this is the punishing response. It's going to happen.
Senate Republicans are considering a resolution that would back U.S. intelligence conclusions. Some Democrats wonder if Russia has dirt on President Trump. He told Fox's Sean Hannity,
"One thing you know, if they had it, it would have been out."
The president said it's a shame. The focus on the summit's been about what he calls the witch hunt.
We're talking about nuclear proliferation. We're talking about Syria and humanitarian aid. We're talking about all of these different things.
More than 9 months after that massacre in Las Vegas, we still don't know the gunman's motive, but we do know a nasty court fight may be brewing involving the Mandalay Bay Hotel, from where Stephen Paddock opened fire on the 32nd floor. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is on the case live.
Dave, MGM Resorts says it has no liability for that attack last October that killed 58 and hurt more than 800. They're suing the victims. The company went to federal courts in Nevada and California, saying claims against the hotel must be dismissed. An attorney for some of the victims told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that this is a preemptive strike by MGM Resorts to get the cases heard in federal court instead of state court. A spokeswoman for MGM says the company is trying to avoid years of drawn-out litigation, which wouldn't benefit those victims. Dave.
Tanya, in Houston, a suspected serial killer who was out on parole and had cut off an ankle monitoring bracelet was just captured this morning after a chase. Jose Gilberto Rodriguez is a person of interest in 3 murders and other crimes in the past week. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
72 degrees and sunshine. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Tensions remain high, boiling over last night on the south side near 71st and Chapel following a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend in the South Shore neighborhood.
We need to know what the officer's name was. We need to know why the body cam wasn't on. Where's the audio? Where are the other angles?
Another protest was held last night near the scene where an officer shot and killed Harith Augustus on Saturday. Demonstrators demanding the release of all the video of that shooting. The NTSB is revealing more information about the medical helicopter crash earlier this month on Chicago's far south side. A preliminary report from the agency believes both engines may have failed just before the aircraft crash landed in a field near I-94 and I-57. A Central Illinois woman, the first to sue Chicago-based McDonald's over tainted salads. Jennifer Smith from Washington, Illinois, filed her suit in Cook County. Smith says she ate tainted salads in May and June and got sick. The USDA says it's tracking a cyclospora outbreak across the country linked to McDonald's salads. A 4th former Wheaton College football player is avoiding any felony charges with a plea bargain. James Cooksey pleaded guilty yesterday to a misdemeanor charge for the hazing incident back in 2016 that left a former teammate slightly injured. Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper beat out Cubs outfielder Kyle Schwarber 19-18 in the finals of the 2018 Home Run Derby. Harper will lift the trophy. 2018 All-Star Game is tonight. Cubs second baseman Javier Baez starts and hits leadoff, while the White Sox Jose Abreu will start at first base and bat 8th for the junior circuit. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Amazon struggled with technical problems at the launch of its annual Summer Prime Day sale yesterday. Some shoppers were receiving error messages at checkout and pictures of the dogs of Amazon. The company acknowledged the ongoing problems. It attributed the issue to customers ordering more items in the first hour of Prime Day than last year. Netflix signed up more subscribers in the spring quarter and made more money, but the company's growing at a slower pace. That has Wall Street concerned the company's momentum may be slipping. Johnson & Johnson's earnings for the recent quarter were stronger than expected, but some of its businesses were disappointing. Baby care and skin care sales were weaker than forecast. And Goldman Sachs is reporting a stronger than expected quarter. The Dow was up 44 on Monday, NASDAQ dropped 20, S&P down 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Sean Hannity, The Sean Hannity Show.
You effectively now have just opened the borders, wide open borders. It doesn't solve the problem. And Congress doesn't want to do their job. Because if they really did, they could literally get it done in a day. If they really meant the things that they were saying, they would get it done for the sake of the children that they seem to care so much about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. You're welcome, America. That's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity, but the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example.
It's 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Like the northbound Veterans Memorial is jammed from Boughton to St. Charles and from the Army Trail Toll up to Euclid Avenue on northbound 53 where there's a crash. Southbound traffic on 53 is heavy Dundee to Euclid. Tri-State southbound stop and go Oakton to the O'Hare Oasis. Jammed Harlem before Cicero with right lanes blocked for vehicle fire. Northbound Gabers delay starts before Cicero. Northbound it's also heavy 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from Reagan Toll to Irving Park. Aiden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Yike, an hour and 8 minutes from 390 to the Circle. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic Service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for victims of drug driving. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP. Visit MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly sunny day today, high 81, clear night, low 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 80, and a partly cloudy night with a low 64. On Thursday, some sun will give way to clouds with showers in the evening, high getting up to 81. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
72 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Did Trump disgrace America with his comments at the post-Putin meeting press conference yesterday? 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. He got off to a good start. I thought this remark about political risk-taking was very productive.
But our relationship has never been worse than it is now. However, that changed as of about 4 hours ago. I really believe that. Nothing would be easier politically than to refuse to meet, to refuse to engage, but that would not accomplish anything. As president, I cannot make decisions on foreign policy in a futile effort to appease partisan critics or the media or Democrats who want to do nothing but resist and obstruct. Constructive dialogue between the United States and Russia affords the opportunity to open new pathways toward peace and stability in our world. I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
Well, that was a nice turn of a phrase, and that's eminently a reasonable position for the president to take, given the geopolitical threat that Russia poses and our interests with respect to the threats that it poses. But then
we shocked the world.
Then it got a little dicey when it came to the issue of
who do you love? Who do you trust?
Who do you believe?
Putin or your own U.S. intel?
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
Okay. You don't see any reason why it would be Russia. So Putin denies it. Dan Coates, his director of national intelligence, not a Democrat, not Obama, not Brennan, not Hayden, not Mueller. Go down the list. Not Hillary Clinton.
No.
His director of national intelligence, Dan Coates, former Republican senator from Indiana, who Trump selected to be his director of national intelligence, as Trump just said, went to the president and said, believe it's Russia. There are dozens of indictments in absentia of Russian operatives and companies. There's a woman that was arrested yesterday, Maria Butina, charged with acting as an unregistered foreign agent. She was working with a Russian Federation official, allegedly charged with developing and executing a plan to identify and exploit personal connections with U.S. persons having influence in American politics who were in positions to advance the interests of the Russian Federation. She set up like a phony baloney gun group, Pro-2A group,
trying to get into the
infiltrate.
NRA to try and lead to Republican operatives.
So there's confusion here?
Well, but then he went further. It seemed to seem as if President Trump was boasting about making some progress with an alleged Russian hacking scheme.
I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer.
Yeah, I don't.
So Russians didn't hack, but yet he's going to help him investigate the Russian hacking.
Yeah, I mean, and O.J. Simpson's going to search for the real killers. I mean, this is stupid. This is dumb. And it's not a generous offer. And I mean, the interplay between Putin and Trump and the press corps, will you allow the U.S. to extradite the 12 individuals who've been indicted? Well, put that request through the proper channel, said Putin. And then we also may be interested in extraditing some Americans, so we'll have to put that through the proper channels as well. No Russians are going to be extradited to the United States, and no Americans are going to be turned over to the Russians. Okay, so can we just stop with the nonsense and focus on the issues? And
but President Trump seemed to celebrate that idea. Like, look, I've accomplished something, and we may have Robert Mueller come to Moscow to interview these people.
That's absurd. That's absurd. And so, covering that moral equivalency with that absurdity did not put President Trump in a positive light, in my estimation. It just seems to me, and I don't understand why this is complicated. And I haven't heard a particularly compelling argument from people who are kind of will defend Trump regardless of what he says or does. So, on the merits here, and don't tell me Obama, Clinton, deep state. Be specific if you want to chime in on this. Number one, there's public disagreement on a range of other issues that were discussed, like Crimea, Putin's invasion of Crimea. I'm sure other matters. I mean, President Trump at NATO was critical of Germany for inking a deal with the Russians for the Russians to provide energy to Germany. Appropriate, fine. So you obviously disagree because the Russians inked that deal, so you disagree on that issue too. Why can't you disagree on Russian hacking? It's not just Mueller and Department of Justice. It's not just your Director of National Intelligence. It's also House and Senate intelligence committees that are controlled by Republicans, that are controlled by Trump allies, generally speaking, like Devin Nunes, the House Intelligence Committee chairman. What did his April report say? And what did he say about it over the weekend? Well, the indictment that Mueller handed down on Friday against those 12 Russian intelligence officers basically tracks the report my committee produced and made public in April. So I'm sorry, what's the confusion here? Why is it so difficult to accomplish two things that are not mutually exclusive at the same time? You can be critical of the decisions made by senior leaders at FBI and DOJ and the Mueller investigation, and at the same time recognize KGB Putin, a totalitarian, murderous dictator, as an enemy of the state, and make it very clear, draw lines of moral clarity between the United States and Russia, between the President of the United States and the dictator of Russia. I don't see why that's complicated. Dave in DeKalb, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, well, I liked what you just said. I'm a supporter of his, but here's my issue. It seems to me that Trump has been slapping Putin every single step of the way since he became president. He sent missiles into Syria. That's a provocation. He talked to Germany about their gas deal with him. All these different things. Then he sits down, shakes the guy's hand, hands him an olive branch. He's been tough on Putin, if you ask me, tougher than our other presidents.
Yes.
And does he trust the people that are advising him? I mean, the whole government is after him. I certainly wouldn't lend any credence to anything anybody's saying about me if everyone wanted my skin.
So he shouldn't trust his Director of National Intelligence. He shouldn't trust House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. He shouldn't trust Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr. He shouldn't trust those allies, erstwhile allies.
If I was him, under the circumstances, I would have a hard time trusting anybody in the government.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Dave. I mean, it's this kind of one-man government. That's just not a sensible position. And the evidence does not support that contention. I'm sorry. But let's confront the evidence. I'm all for, there's no reason to, call him Little Vlad or come up with a nickname like it's a Republican presidential debate, okay? But why you can't draw lines of demarcation between the United States and our positions on these important matters, which they discussed in private, and the Russians, I haven't heard a compelling reason why you can't do that. John in Romeoville.
Yes, me?
Yes. Yes, you, John.
Yes. The media created this. If Trump acknowledges any meddling by Russia, the automatic headline within minutes would be, Trump admits Russia got him elected. That would run ad nauseum on every single channel. And that's a fact. He didn't fall for the trap.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me they wouldn't jump all over that like that. They would.
Right. And Trump could say on an international stage where everybody was watching, he could say, it's clear that the Russians attempted to influence the election, that the evidence is clear. And it's also clear, and this is not President Trump saying this, this is the Obama administration saying it. This is former Attorney General Loretta Lynch saying it, that they were unsuccessful, that the Russians did not compromise our election or its results. They attempted to, and those are two very different things. There's your answer.
There would never be any follow-up, there would never be educated follow-up like you just did.
Trump has the platform. He can say anything.
No, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
sorry.
The papers would just keep saying
Trump
admits.
That's nonsense. Okay,
It isn't nonsense.
The papers are going to say whatever they're going to say. All of the headlines, Politico, Putin's attack on the USSR Pearl Harbor, and all of the John Brennan stuff and everything else. They're going to say what they're going to say. The important thing is you say what you're supposed to say. You focus on what you're going to say and the message you want to drive. You don't make moral equivalencies between the United States and Russia because the D.C. press corps is aligned against you. That's built into the price. That's a weak excuse. Thanks for the call, John. Yemi on the north side.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. What we know now is that Trump messed up yesterday. We know that Russia meddling in our election. But what we don't know is what the intelligence were doing for Russia to outsmart them. And what are they going to do in the future to prevent all this nonsense? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good topic of conversation. The steps that we're going to take to make sure that what was attempted in 2016 will be disincentivized from being attempted in 2018 and beyond, or at least will be protected from their latest and greatest efforts to incur into our electoral system, to elections, to the United States generally. Well, that'd be a good conversation. I agree with that. Makes sense. Elaine in Aurora.
Yeah, I agree totally with the previous caller who said that if he admitted that somebody had hacked into it, they'd say, he admits he lost the election. Where is that the Russians got in the election? Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? From any of these guys.
It's in the House.
Any of these guys.
Okay.
Where's the evidence?
It's in the House.
What is it, Dan? What is it? What have they proven?
Are you going to let me answer, or are you just going to keep asking the same question?
There's a 12-count indictment.
If
you want to read that, peruse through that, and then the House intels.
Well, there's congressional committee reports. There's indictments, not just the ones announced Friday, but the ones that were announced previously against the Concord Company and all of its appendages with respect to the Facebook propaganda campaigns.
Can these four people come forward and defend themselves that they've been trying to with Mueller? And Mueller's going, oh my God, they're going to defend themselves in court. Oh, what am I going to do? I got to delay this.
Yeah, well,
very phony.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Elaine. I don't think we're going to get through to Elaine, so I'll concede the point. Megan on the south side.
Hi. Good morning, guys. To me, I remember President Obama saying something about, any reasonable person would, Russia always tries to influence our elections. China tries. They're trying currently by targeting areas of the Trump supporters with their tariff response. Mexico, as President Trump said, has been attempting to pack our electorate for years, to which Geraldo laughed at him. But, it didn't influence the results of the election. So why should he kowtow to the press, which is, I think, what he was doing. He was not trying to make an international statement there. He was just refusing to kowtow to the press. And my other point is that don't you think Putin maybe has something on these Democrats who don't want Trump anywhere near the guy? Thanks.
Well, okay. Thanks for the call, Megan. One is, saying what is obviously, demonstrably true is not kowtowing to anybody. It's describing reality. Number two, the whole kind of Putin has something on the Democrats. Well, now you're playing the same conspiracy theorist game that Schumer and Brennan and Pelosi and Jeff Merkley from Oregon. Oh, he's got to have something. Oh, this happened in the private meeting. He, in a coded way, he passed on intelligence, U.S. intelligence information. These are hysterical conspiracy theories that are being propagated and promulgated by the left all over the place. So now you want to play that game? No, let's not. Let's just kind of keep it tight. What do you think about that? And you can be forceful and yet get along. Get along in a way that you can dialogue with somebody. We're not, bunkmates, but we're going to get along because we're going to work in advance of our respective interests and see if there's an intersection point. This is what Gorbachev said about President Reagan upon his death. In terms of human qualities, he and I had, you would say, communicativeness, and this helped us carry on normally. But when you talk about friendly relations in politics, it's not the friendship of schoolmates. And President Reagan, and it's memorialized in some of the documents at the Reagan Foundation website, made a point to reach out to Brezhnev, and then, ultimately after Brezhnev's death, and then Andropov and Chernenko got to Gorbachev and then this relationship. Reagan is given much of the credit that he deserves for ending the Cold War in America's favor. He engaged with Gorbachev. He met with him routinely. They did deals. And also, when he stood at Brandenburg Gate, he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," with Gorbachev present. You see the difference? You can you can exercise moral clarity and still achieve that communicativeness, to borrow a Gorbachev word, that you want from this adversary, recognizing that it's an adversary. Jason in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, I was going to state that if I were Trump, I wouldn't trust the intelligence agencies either. They did try to frame him, and the best thing to do is just to keep on calling them out and not accept their false premises. I know you say there's evidence. Did they examine the servers yet? Did the FBI get the DNC servers? Or did they take the word from CrowdStrike that it was hacked from Russia? I don't buy it. I don't trust the intelligence agencies. Trump shouldn't either.
Thanks, Jason.
Clearly he doesn't. He said so yesterday.
Well, then he did say, "Trust
But
my
then he trusts
intelligence
you.
people." But I also got this vociferous denial by Putin. And that equivalency is troublesome. Bob and Lyle.
Hello, thanks. You know, it's quite telling when the President Putin goes, "I would have voted for Trump over Hillary." That is his point of view, and he's welcome to it, just like any other Russian that wants to write an op-ed piece about the United States of America, good, bad, or indifferent. The problem is that our president has been continually plagued by NBC, CBS, you name them, and they have said nothing about this president that's ever been any good. I am an American. I am furious over Republicans and Democrats who's come against this president, who's done nothing but try to do good. And just like the other caller said, you really believe that the FBI and the Justice Department gave Hillary a pass? If you don't believe that, then there's something wrong with the whole thing. When you get called out on it in front of the whole world, then you better take note that there's a lot of people in this country that are pissed off.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Hey, July is the buy one, get one free. That offer is back at mypillow.com. I love it because you can move the fill to give you the support you need, whether you sleep on your back or your side or your stomach. It is washable and dryable. It is made in America. In fact, did you know that our 45th president mentioned that he sleeps on a MyPillow? Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, was at that rally in Fargo last month, and the president recognized him and endorsed MyPillow on national TV. Be like Trump. Sleep on a MyPillow. What you do is go to mypillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, and you'll get the buy one, get one free offer. There's also 30% off those MyPillow mattress toppers I've been telling you about, as well as pet beds. I love mine. The sheets are fantastic. It's Egyptian cotton. I shouldn't have wasted all that money buying that when I could have just gone to mypillow.com. You can't even tell the difference between the two. And actually, the MyPillow sheets are better. mypillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, or call 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Michael Goodwin in the New York Post about yesterday's presser and focus in on Peter Strzok and the FBI and President Trump's mention of both.
And then later, what's going to happen to those two CVS managers after they denied a woman a use of her coupon? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
73 degrees. President Trump says if Russia had any incriminating information on him, it would be out already. President making those remarks in a Fox News interview with Sean Hannity after his joint press conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics.
The president, after that press conference, saying the Russians do have no information on him. Former head of the CIA called the president's joint press conference with the Russian president, quote, nothing short of treasonous, end quote. John Brennan explained those comments this morning on NBC's Today Show.
So when I use the term, this is nothing short of treasonous, I equate it to the betrayal of one's nation, basically aiding and abetting, giving comfort to an enemy.
Brennan joining with some former fellow intelligence leaders in condemning the president's unwillingness to endorse U.S. intelligence findings, which show Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election. Nearly 24 were injured Monday when a lava bomb from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano hit a tour boat. Ford owners will share $299 million the car maker will pay to settle federal lawsuits over faulty Takata airbags. A man faces misdemeanor charges after taking part in a protest over a deadly police shooting. It happened over the weekend in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. Melvin Johnson refused to comply with a police order and then pushed that officer during a demonstration Saturday night near 71st and Champlain. 4 are in custody following a home invasion in Hammond, Indiana. A group of armed people entered a home near Crane Place in California in an attempted robbery. Investigators believe a woman was also sexually assaulted during that incident. Chicago sports. Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper wins the home run derby over the Cubs' Kyle Schwarber 19-18 to claim the home run derby championship. Bears rookies in training camp. They all reported yesterday except for number 1 pick Roquan Smith, who's not come to terms on a deal. The news, a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, students, and administrators visit PCADevZone.org. 8:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing heavy delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway and 53 with a crash at Euclid. It's essentially traffic at a standstill from Boughton to St. Charles after the Army Trail Toll most of the way to Euclid. Southbound 53 is heavy from Dundee to Euclid. Tri-State Tollways go southbound from Milwaukee Avenue to 137, Oakton to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound 111 to the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. Kennedy inbound to Lacedown to Central, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 40 from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 56 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown and 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 5 minutes, 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39 minutes, line 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and pleasant today, less humid, high 81. Currently 72. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and I've been talking about the Trump-Putin summit meeting and post-game presser all morning that has set the Beltway ablaze with criticism of President Trump for his response to the Russian meddling question in terms of who do you believe? Do you believe your intelligence community or do you believe Putin's denials? As President Trump said they did discuss it in private, said President Trump.
During today's meeting, I addressed directly with President Putin the issue of Russian interference in our elections. I felt this was a message best delivered in person. Spent a great deal of time talking about it. And President Putin may very well want to address it, and very strongly, because he feels very strongly about it.
Yeah, the president, the dictator, I should say, feels very strongly about it. He denied it unequivocally. President Trump, less strongly about it. He equivocated on the matter of whether the Russians attempted to meddle in the 2016 election or not, and this has gotten criticism from, center-right, reasonable people like Neil Cavuto,
Newt Gingrich,
members of the House and Senate, Republicans, and then, of course, the hysterics from the left like John Brennan suggesting the president had committed treason. For more on this topic and also weave in the President Trump's remarks again about Peter Strzok, a topic he has been discussing since Strzok's testimony last Thursday. We're pleased to be joined by Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. His latest piece, Peter Strzok's Arrogance, is the product of a corrupt FBI. Michael, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. I should let you know I also have a column today on the Putin-Trump press conference.
All right, well, give us your perspective on that then.
Well, I believe the president made a mistake. I think that the equivocation, as you described it, is very disappointing. Look, I think that 18 months into his presidency, when his people are running these intelligence agencies, he appointed Dan Coats, Director of National Intelligence. He appointed Mike Pompeo, former head of CIA, now Secretary of State. He appointed Gina Haspel, now head of CIA. I mean, you go down the list, these are his people. And so when he says, essentially, that he's not sure who's right about this, I mean, he's throwing his own people under the bus. And this is a big issue. And I think the president's mistake is that he has conflated two issues into one. The first issue was there Russian meddling. And we have no evidence that says there wasn't. We have all of our intelligence communities of two administrations saying there was. On the second issue, though, I think the president has linked to that first issue is whether he colluded with Russia in that meddling. And, of course, to that answer, to that question, he has to say no. No is his answer. There was no collusion. Unfortunately, I think in his mind, the two issues are linked. Did Russia meddle? Was there collusion? He has made it one question and answers no to it. And I argue in my column today that these are separate issues, and you can answer them separately. You can say, yes, there was meddling, but no, there was no collusion. I didn't need any help. I won fair and square, and I will carry out my duties honorably because I was elected fairly.
And it's real easy to separate the two. Just use an evidentiary standard. On the one hand, we have all the evidence that indicates Russian attempt to meddle in the election. And on the other hand, we have no evidence that me or anybody in my circle attempted to collude with the Russians or did collude with the Russians, because we didn't. So no evidence here, all the evidence there, and I base my conclusions on the evidence. Simple.
Yes. I mean, I don't for the life of me understand why he continues to give ammunition to those who would unseat him. I mean, he has, as you said in your opening, he has created a firestorm here now. And he's getting no help. No one is really in Washington is agree with him. You cannot agree with him on this. You cannot say this was a smart thing to do. I mean, I think the hysterics, of course, were looking for anything, and they're hysterical every day. They don't really need anything. But this is one, I think, that is so radical, such a departure, that it is hard to see what he's thinking other than this, as I say, this conflation of these issues where he mistakenly equates them. And the moral equivalency as a result here between Dan Coats, his director of national intelligence, who says there was meddling by Russia, and Vladimir Putin, who says there isn't. I mean, so they're the same. They're equal in the president's eyes. He can't decide which is right. And then the general Russia versus America. Is there no difference? I mean, would you say what happened to America First? Where's the America First president who scolds Angela Merkel over her dealings with Russia? I mean, it just makes no sense.
Well, clearly he wants to press a reset button with Russia. But if you were Dan Coats this morning, would you resign after what Trump said yesterday?
You know, that's a question I've been asking myself. What about John Bolton, too? What about Gina Haspel? I mean, what does this do to the intelligence agencies? These people risk their lives, and some of them clearly made mistakes during the Obama White House. I mean, John Brennan is a despicable human being. I think he was trying to subvert the election, but there are many honorable, honest, hard-working people who in those agencies, many of whom who risk their lives. What are you saying to them? So yes, Amy, to your question about Dan Coats, I mean, I'm sure it went through his mind. I hope he does not. I hope John Bolton doesn't quit. I hope Pompeo. I hope none of them do. I think they're important. But I'm not sure how the president cleans this up in a way that satisfies those people. And also, just if I could quickly, when you played his description of his meeting with Putin, and he never says, he says, we discussed the issue. But he never says his opinion. He never said, I told him it was wrong. I told him not to do it. I warned him. I mean, I write a little speech in my column, what he should have said. But the president, this is clearly how the president feels. He's not sure whether Dan Coates is right or whether Vladimir Putin is right. I mean,
It seems to me that he's conflating two issues here again, and one is his criticism of the senior leadership of FBI, CIA under Brennan, and Justice. And,
yes.
And there's legitimate criticism to be leveled there. We've talked about it with you on this show.
Sure.
With taking a clear and a bright stance against who everyone knows is a KGB autocrat. I mean, you can be critical of one and still at the same time say, yeah, these guys tried to meddle in our election in 2016. They were not successful. They didn't impact the outcome. And I told them, don't try that again because we're taking steps to make sure nobody meddles in our election, whether they're Russian or Chinese or anybody else. A definitive statement like that ends it. It ends it.
Yes. I mean, and instead, he missed that opportunity. And he creates a firestorm. He creates lots of doubts about himself. Look, I don't know the damage, how much damage this will do. I mean, within the administration, what does it do to the confirmation of Kavanaugh? I don't know. Do Republican senators now find reasons not to support the president? So I think he has created some additional problems for himself, for his party. In the midterms. I mean, this was a major league mistake.
Well, you're right. You're right to point out the political capital problem too, right? This doesn't occur in a vacuum. So you've got all of these other issues in addition to the 2018 election, and Democrats, of course, are going to be howling that the President Trump is inviting foreign influence into our midterm elections, and he's indifferent to the security of our elections. In addition to all of the other conspiracy theories they're putting out there.
Right, yeah, no criticism will be out of bounds now. Not that it has been, but this gives new life to something that he could have closed the books on yesterday. So I hope he makes a lot of efforts to clean it up so that it does not become a defining issue for going forward for other policies, for his presidency itself. And now any calls to end Mueller will be, easily brushed aside. So I just think this is something that the president, if he could rewind the world for 24 hours, I hope he recognizes the damage he has done here.
Well, the other thing too is he sort of blunts the advantage that Peter Strzok gave him with his performance last week before the House Judiciary Committee and Lisa Page being whistled to the hill. He just can't help himself but to beat that drum even when it's not necessary, or yesterday when it was sort of inappropriate.
Yes, I mean, I thought that too, that this is not the time or place for, I think the president's points are well taken on Strzok and Comey and the email investigation. And I think all of that is true, understandable. And I also understand why the president is so fixated on this, because I think for him, it is fundamentally unfair. It has cast a cloud over his administration. It has made, I think, a lot of things more difficult because of this thing that any day now he could, get indicted or something like that hangs out there, and it gives fire to the resistance. That is the whole reason why the resistance movement exists, because of the Russia collusion issue. And yet, and there were people like Peter Strzok who hated him, and who were investigating him at the same time. I mean, Comey, you go through all that, and yet you could have, again, you have to separate. You have to separate those things. You can't lump them all together in a big ball, which is, again, what he did yesterday.
He is Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you both.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When the Senate was debating cutting taxes, Senator Joe Donnelly told us this.
If they bring a good tax bill before me that helps middle-class families, count me in every time.
But how did Senator Donnelly actually vote? Listen to President Trump.
Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts.
The Trump tax cuts are working for Indiana. Middle-class families will receive a tax cut of more than $2,000. Thanks to tax cuts, Hoosier businesses are hiring, raising wages, and paying employee bonuses. But Senator Donnelly voted no. It's time for Joe Donnelly to change course on tax cuts. Call Senator Joe Donnelly, 202-224-4814. Tell him the Trump tax cuts are working and to vote yes on S2687 to make our tax reforms permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst. From an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will get you off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-566-7906 now for your free reputation analysis. Our dedicated experts and patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-566-7906 to learn more or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Is it lawful to publicly prey on government property? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
I was in the Supreme Court building with another lady, and we were in the Supreme Court in D.C., in the main room there, and me and her daughter and another 14-year-old girl, we stood in a circle holding hands and was praying for the country. And lo and behold, the police came up to us and abruptly stopped our prayer and said that we had to leave and not pray or else we'd be escorted out.
And the reason they did that is that some have taken the view that prayer activity inside a government building, we had this with the Capitol, constitutes an unlawful assembly or an unlawful demonstration. Now, if this was during a court session or something like that, I would see the argument. Obviously, you don't want to be disruptive to the court session, but clearly prayer activity should not be prohibited even in the Supreme Court building.
The American Center for Law and Justice is committed to defending your religious and constitutional freedoms. Visit us at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Do you know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. Well, what about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
For more than a half-century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, we made it to the end of the show and to the end of Tuesday. Our thanks to Justin Kosick, the technical producer, associate producer Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer, who's telling the crew right now a lovely story. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the news.
What's the story?
We can't say it on air. It's just
We're going to say it on air tomorrow.
Okay, maybe we will. Tune in at 5 a.m. But now we go to Mike Scott.
Protests continue over a deadly Chicago police shooting. A fourth Wheaton College football player pleads guilty in the All-Star Home Run Derby last night. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.